Good evening, everybody. I hope you can hear us, I hope you can see us, and I hope you are joining us live this evening for our very big brand reveal. Now, I've purposely started just a minute or so early because I have a feeling that a lot of you might be looking for this live this evening, and I don't want you to have to search for it. There's nothing worse than logging on at 7:07 or 7:01 or 7 exactly and not finding that live, is there? So I wanted to be here and ready and waiting for you for when you tune in at dot on 7. Now this evening, I'm not going to lie to you, if you are here a little bit early and you're with me, I'm rather excited. I truthfully mean it. This evening, we'll get to launch a brand that we have built in-house here at Creative Expressions. It's a brand that means the world to me, genuinely, and I know that might sound odd, it's brand new, so how can it mean so much? But we've been working on it behind the scenes now for many months, and it's just a collection of products that's actually really truthfully important to me. And I know that might sound really odd, but I'll tell you more as we go through the evening and explain to you a little bit of the reason why we've built this brand and what this brand is about and why we're actually bringing it to you in the format we are, because there's lots to kind of discuss and tell you. The bit I am going to tell you at this stage is, if you haven't come prepared already, grab a pen and paper, because tonight we will talk names, products and techniques, because of, oh my goodness, does this brand open up a whole world of techniques. There are so many techniques to share with you with this brand. There is no way that this evening we are going to get through them all. We have got 2 hours of shows coming up this Saturday on Hobbymaker, and this is going to exclusively launch. There is no way in them 2 hours and this hour we will get through all of the techniques we could teach you. We'll have a live next Monday. Still, I don't think we're going to get through all of the techniques and tips and tricks we can teach you with this lot. Gwen will be doing a live with this not too far in the future. There's no way even then do I feel we will get through everything. This is a brand, this is a collection that is going to bring you literally hours upon hours of creativeness. But as I can see you're joining me, I'm going to stop waffling and I'm going to say hello. If you've just joined, we've purposely started early so you could find us. You've missed nothing but excited waffle from me. No big reveals. The black sign is in place. It will reveal the brand shortly. But let's check in with you guys and see if you're as excited as we are.
I feel we should have had some red curtains or something that you pulled.
I did wonder, could we fit a little curtain? But I thought that at like 4 o'clock and thought, if I tell Pete that I now want curtains, like, you know when they like reveal like the names on the side of buildings,
is that what you want?
like Boris lived here or whoever, yeah, it wouldn't work. Okay, so let's have a little look. Who have we got with us? Good evening, Sue. Good evening, Alison. Good evening, Gwen. Gwen's excited. I knew Gwen would be excited. Good evening, Kathleen, Sheila, Hayley. Hadrian's Hobbies, lovely to see you with us. Lynn, you're with us. Sheila, Jasmine, oh my goodness, there is loads of you here tonight. Now, you may have seen our very excited little kind of sneaky video last night. We did kind of let you know that we are really excited about this one. I know we bring you lots of products under lots of brands, lots of different collections, but oh my goodness, is this one important. Now, let's jump on over before we reveal all and just check in on Hostage Cam. Who do we have in Hostage Cam this evening?
We have just plain old Peter tonight, so evening all. But
plain old Peter.
Who knows who might be putting in an appearance later. So
which one of your many personality masks might appear.
Exactly. Hope we're all okay and excited for Jamie's reveal tonight. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Means a lot, doesn't it?
It does mean a lot. It's lovely to see so many of you joining us this evening as well. The numbers are off the charts, which is lovely to see because it means you're as excited as we are for this reveal. Now, I don't want to egg this out for too long because I want to get on. I've got so much to share with you this evening. I mean, bonkers amounts. If we're not here at midnight, I'm going to be surprised, and we can't do that. That ain't fair on you guys. So I'm going to try and keep it short and sharp. So let's get on with this. So the brand that we are revealing this evening, I'm interested to know if anyone's guessed, but it is actually all about putting creativity into your hands and bringing you a brand that opens up a world of possibilities. We are bringing you Crafty Concoctions. Now, Crafty Concoctions is a built in-house brand consisting of pastes, inks, glitters, and I'm sure as time goes on, many, many more things. Now, you might already be tuning out. You might think, do you know what, that ain't my cup of tea. I don't need to know about this. We've seen it. We've got glitters. We've got pastes. This brand is different. The clue is in the name. This concoctions part, this test tube element, what's that all about? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my random growing up stories, because I think it's always nice that you know different reasons behind why we do things. There's two parts to this story. One was a complete jealousy that my sister one Christmas got a science set. Do you know the kind of science sets out of Argos? And you had all them test tubes and all them bits in it that you could mix together and make little puffs of smoke and things. I was too young to play with it, and I always wanted to. I always wanted to experiment with that and see what we could create. And I think that was one of the stages in my world, in my life, that I realised that actually if we started mixing X and Y together, we're going to completely end up with a different product. And craft is no different to that. For many moons, and I don't even know if I've ever told Pete this, I used to actually, as a child, play in the bathroom with all the different pastes and potions and make different compounds, different creations, different things. I have no idea what I was aiming for. It wasn't some sort of... Have I never told you that? I loved doing that. Gem. I loved mixing shampoos and talcum powders and making pastes and bits. No idea what they were for, completely wasteful, but as a child it was something I loved to be able to do. And again, I'd like to believe that throughout all of my journey in craft is something I've always brought you. I've always brought you the knowledge that all of the products we bring you under whatever brand I'm representing can be mixed and matched. But actually, to now be able to bring you a brand dedicated to that. And what does that mean? What does that look like? Let's delve on in, shall we? So these are our very first products that are releasing under the Crafty Concoctions brand. Now, as I say, we could quite easily be a brand that brings you texture paste in 15 colours, 20 colours, 30 colours, 5 colours, 6 colours, whatever the number may be, and you will then end up with 6 colours of that paste. We could bring you endless colours of glitter, we could bring you endless colours of inks, and we could try and keep it that you're forever on a circle of buying new products to create with in single shade pots, single style pots. But instead of doing that, how about if we actually try and put you in the creative driving seat and save you as many pennies as we possibly can? And how I go about this, what my plan is here, is we bring you the foundation elements, the parts that you're going to start with, and then the pieces you're going to bring into those concoctions to make up brand new versions. And you can do this time after time. There is so much in these pots, you're going to be able to make multiple versions many, 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 many times. Now, with our 4 different foundation pastes, we have 4 different effects that are achieved. We then have our 10 different glitters, and we have our 12 different inks. And even with our inks, not only have we brought you lots of shades of ink, we've also brought you white and black so that you can lighten and darken every single concoction you create. The idea of this is it's uniquely mixed and it's uniquely yours. You're not going to end up with exactly the same creation as what everybody else has got, and that's the unique bit. That's the bit that sets this aside and puts you in control. Now, as you make and create this, maybe you're going to fall in love with a concoction you've created and you want a place to store it. And that could be as simple as you're going to mix those 2 colours of glitter together and make a really cool mix that we haven't even thought of. Or it might be that you're going to add these into your paste and make a really cool texture paste that you want to store and come back to. It might be that you want to mix your inks and make a brand new shade and you want a tub to store it in and use it as a paint. These tubs are going to be available for you to be able to collect and add your concoctions into and store for a little while for in between uses. And then on top of that, not only do we want you to be able to make this, just like any time we bring recipes together, concoctions together, or anything else together, we need to be able to track what we've been doing. So we also have recipe cards for you to be able to write down everything you've created. If you find that micro granite paste with a white shard mixes perfectly with Quantum Inferno up here and you want to document that, then we have cards for you to be able to do that on. And there are 10 cards in each packet, giving you space to write out what you've created and then test it on white and black for you to then be able to come back to this time after time. Maybe on the reverse, you want to make some notes. I should have done a little bit more of this. I could have done a bit more of that. What if I add in a bit more water? What if I add in another glitter? And of course, we're going to talk to you a lot this evening about the Crafty Concoctions family, but actually, you could bring in all of your other mediums that you have already, whatever brand they may be. Maybe you're going to start mixing and matching and making your own completely unique Crafty Concoctions with things we haven't even thought of. Now I'm going to run through these because I want you to see everything as quickly as I can go through it, and then we'll play because I've got so many techniques and so many samples to share with you. So the inks at the top, these are our Chroma Lab inks. Everything has a scientific name. I will probably pronounce half of them wrong. You can laugh along with me as I get them wrong. It is absolutely fine, but we've gone for the science vibe. We were one step away from ordering me a white coat for many reasons, but a white coat to present this evening's show in because it is that scientifically based. It is about mixing and matching. So as you can see, you've got Catalyst White, you've got Cryo Black, Cobalt Compound, Ionic Foliage, Oxidizing Ruby, Fused Earth, Thermal Reaction, Reagent Plum. I'm looking for that. Did I get that one right? I never get that one right. I keep calling it Reagent Plum. It's terrible. And then we've got Compound Leaf. Oh, I'm spitting on the boards, never good. Molecular Rose, Photon Nightfall, and Quantum Inferno. This one reminds me of a little song. I don't know why I keep wanting to burst out in song. You don't want to hear that. But there is, as you can see, 12 different shades for you to work and create with. And just as I mentioned, you've got your white and your black, so you can completely transform all of these and take them off into different stages. Now, of course, there is the most gigantic range of colours that we could bring you. That's the first 12. I'm hopeful, if you love this as much as I do, that there will be many more collections and releases under the Crafty Concoctions umbrella or product range, under the Creative Expressions umbrella. We have a lot of umbrellas here, it gets confusing. Don't talk about Pete to umbrellas. Jess, we were trying to convince me the other day we wanted to buy one and get a photo of us all stood under an umbrella. Very bizarre. But there is a lot of umbrellas, and I'm hopeful that we will bring out more inks in more colours as the time goes on to help you build up your catalogue and options. But again, this is the perfect place to start, and you've got that ability to mix and match. Then we move on to our Atomics glitters. Now, very badly actually, Peter, I've just spotted, we've not told you the names on the front of these, have we? So I'm going to run through the names later when we get to playing with these, and I'll show you in more detail. But your Atomics glitters, and I'm going to hope that the camera can see this because I want you to see the sparkle. These are multi-shard particles, multi-size shards. That sounds more sensible. Basically, lots of sizes of glitter in different colours mixed in to create the most incredible effects. And you'll soon spot, and I'm going to try and wiggle this, that several of them change colour. So you look to them top 4 running across here. I'm trying to focus on these ones to begin with. These are our colour changing ones. So if we give that a little wiggle, can we see the colour change? Oh, it's good. It's yummy. I love these. These are so exciting. But there is, of course, 10 colours in this collection under our Atomics Glitters release. And it's these 4 at the top that are a colour changing part of the family. The others, these are yummy too. Look at these. They remind me of candy floss and unicorns and rainbows and all the fun of the fair. And they are chocked full of so much sparkle and glitter, iridescentness and just beauty. I hope you are seeing this come across on your screen as impressive as they are in reality. But you are not going to regret adding these into your crafty stash if you haven't already considered them. These are a must-have. I also really like this one on the end here. This one reminds me of koi fish. I have no idea why, but it's got lots of different shades in it and it's just got a really lovely finish to it. It is really lovely. I am going to try and run you through the names because I can see them if I hold the board up high. So I don't know if this will work, but we've got Nebula Constellation. We have got Radiant Embers. We have got Subatomic Foliage in the middle there on the top. Oh, you're not seeing that. There's Subatomic Foliage. Then we've got Reactive Flora moving across to the next one. An Optic Mist is the one I think reminds me of koi fish for some reason. Here it looks a bit more red and green, could remind me of Christmas. Then on the bottom here we've got Colloidal Violet, Luminescent Blaze moving across into this one. Then we move on to Spectral Pink, Aurora Fusion, and at the end here, Iridescent Reaction. We'll go through those again in a little bit so you can actually see them in the pots and see the particles, because it's much more exciting than looking at them on a board. These ones were stuck onto a self-adhesive sheet. Now, we've introduced the inks, we've introduced the glitters. These can both be used as individual items, and everything we talk about this evening doesn't have to be mixed. If you're somebody who is anti-mixing, absolutely fine. We understand it. You might not be brave. We get it. Not everyone wants to take everything they can get their hands on like I do and mix it together and see what we can create. That might not be your cup of tea. Do not fear. Glitter is glitter. Ink is ink. Pastes are pastes. Never do they have to mix. But if you want them to mix, then of course we open up a whole world of possibilities. Now the next boards I'm going to share with you are just showing you some of the possibilities. I don't honestly think if I was here for the next year, or if we had billboards the size of, or sample boards the size of houses, that we could actually put out every possible combination. Because when you think of your glitters, your pastes and your inks, and all the different shades we can mix those in, all of the different times we could mix them through, it would be a gigantic amount to try and share with you. So let's start off then at the beginning, shall we? So again, honesty is always the best policy. I always want to be honest with you. That's the most important thing I think we can ever do as a brand. We're bringing you Blendite Texture put my teeth back in. Blendite Texture Paste Transparent. This is exactly the same product as our Jamie Rogers Crafts Clear Texture Paste. This is just our Crafty Concoctions version of it. It's the same size, it's the same pot, it's the same product, it's the same price. It is basically just making sure that we move away from that product under the Jamie Rogers Crafts brand and bring that over into our laboratory, because this is where we need it. This is the time that clear texture paste, transparent texture paste, whatever we wish to call it, is in its most important form. This is the stage where everything we're bringing you can go straight into that clear medium and create endless possibilities. So hopefully you can see that clear daub I've got up here on my board. We've got beautiful texture, glossy clearness, which is just the perfect thing. It actually looks like waves going across here already. So you can use it again as it is, no reason why you can't. But bring it in to those Chroma inks. And you can see all 12 shades there, even the white, the black, going all the way through the colours, giving you brand new texture paste finishes. And this is what I love, because instead of selling you or bringing you or trying to convince you that you need to purchase 12 of these kind of clear lacquers, if you will, kind of clear texture paste, transparent texture paste with just a hint of colour, why do that when we can bring you the inks and the medium and you can mix your own as you want them? You can create lighter shades, darker shades, and you can choose whether you want to add glitter to them or not, or maybe enchanted sprinkles, or maybe one of our other goodies that we bring you. So that bar there is just our Chroma Lab inks as you see them direct out of the bottle into a small amount of the Blendite Texture Paste Transparent. On the base here, moving up slightly, we've got our Atomics glitters. Now here we've chose to mix them in so they become encapsulated within the clear texture paste. Now we can of course sprinkle them over the texture paste instead if we prefer, but actually really encapsulating them, making them so that they're embedded into that clear, creates a completely different look, because it now means that we've got a glossy finish going over the top of that glitter, giving us the most beautiful texture. And hopefully, as you can see them here, encapsulated in the texture paste, you can see all those different size particles all suspended within that clear medium, giving you all of them different options that you're going to be able to hook out and play with and create with. And like this one down here, showing you the different colours which are going to come to you in each jar. So moving forward, that of course was Blendite Texture Paste Transparent. What about this pot of yumminess? This one is a Pillion Paste Opti Gold. It sounds like a James Bond villain, I know. Opti Gold. You imagine it's going to be sat there stroking its putty cat, plotting to take over the world. But it is the most beautiful white texture paste with a gold mica running through it. So when we bring our inks into this, again, we can use it on its own. It looks beautiful on its own. There is no reason we cannot use that on its own. It is stunning. But when we bring in the inks and we put the inks into it, look at that sheen. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We have got yumminess overload. So again, you don't need to buy 12 colours of this texture paste. Buy one pot and the inks and make your own. And then not only stick to them 12 colours, think of all of the different shades you're going to be able to make with them. All of the different combinations you could possibly bring together to play with those. Then, let's move on to your glitters. So the glitters, once again, suspended, but this time suspended in that gold mica shimmer paste, creating even more luxuriousness, because instead of just having a clear medium around those glitters, we've now got a shimmery gold one. Isn't that gorgeous? But don't forget, we can mix this and this together to create a whole world of possibilities. Moving on, we move to micro granite paste clear shard. So this is basically a clear texture paste with shards of sand in it. And these are like clear shards of sand, which give a completely different texture, feel, style to the product. So again, can be used completely on its own, and it looks a little bit like glass. It's got a really cool finish to it. I don't know if you're going to see it, but we're going to lift it up and we're going to give it a wiggle and we're going to see if you can get through to seeing it. But it's got a really cool shardy feel to it. Then when we start mixing in again our inks, can you see how that colours? How the inks pull around the shards? How we get completely different results to the previous 2 times we've looked at these inks within a texture paste. We're opening up a new world of possibility by having that shard in there. And then just like before, bringing in our glitters and adding those into this concoction instead and seeing what we can create in that format. Then we move on. There is one more to share with you. Then we've got micro granite paste white shard. So instead of having a clear shard in this pot, we've got a white shard. So it's got a white sand running through it. Now again, you might see this better when we go on to these, but look at that beautiful navy with the white shard inside it. That white shard isn't going to be coloured necessarily. It's still going to sit prominent within that colour of ink, within that texture paste. So you create a completely different effect to what you've been able to create with all of the products we've brought you previously. Now again, we keep talking about adding the glitters, adding the inks together, but you might choose at this stage to bring in some more of those texture pastes and add into this white shard. Let's go to our Bond villain, Opti-Gold, and bring that in with white shard, mix that in with one of our Chroma Lab inks, finish that off with one of our glitters, and create a completely different finish once again. And this is why I say to you, we could be here forever and a day with boards like this and still never share with you every possibility that is available. So if there is any questions about any of that, please let me know in the comments and I'll get Pete to read them out to me and we will do our very best to answer them for you. But in a quick recap, these are the products that we are looking at. You've got 4 different choices of texture paste. These ones, the recommended retail price for these is $8.99. You've got your different Atomics glitters. Those ones are $5.99 recommended retail price per jar. And as you can see, these are a big jar. You're getting a lot in them. Then we move on to our inks. The inks, the Chroma Lab inks, are recommended retail price $3.99. And in those ones, you're receiving 18 mils of ink. I'm going to tell you now that whenever we start developing a product, we make test bottles. We have test bottles of them. We have to check them. We're never going to bring you a product unless we've checked it. We have to know and make sure that this product does everything we need it to do and then some before we're going to bring that to you. Because if we don't, that's just silly. So in here is my very first test bottle. I have used this to make over 50 cards. I've made recipe cards. I've made sample boards. I have played more than you could ever imagine, especially with this lovely pink. And I'm still about there within this bottle. Oh, about there. Sorry, I held it to a light so I could see where I was. But about there if we're looking at it. So I've done all of that and only used that much. These are going to last you a very, very, very long time. So those are $3.99 recommended retail price. Your storage containers, if you wish to use these to store what you've created in at any stage, those two are $3.99. And if, like me, you want to be able to go back and recreate what you've been making, because I think that's really important that we have an idea of what we've created and how that's going to look on different colours, then our pack of recipe cards, which brings you 10 recipe cards per packet, is a recommended retail price of $1.99. And these, to me, are worth their weight in gold, because every time I get that little moment where I'm like, what am I going to make? What can I create today? What am I up to? What should I be doing? I can refer back to this and think, well, actually, Blendite Texture Base Clear, Chroma Lab Inks Catalyst White, Molecular Rose, and Atomics Glitter Spectral Pink made this. But what about if I add in some of that one too? What's that going to look like? And that to me is how I know I'm never going to have brain fog again. I'm never going to sit there and think, what do I do again? Because I've got records of what I've done, why I've done it, and the idea of what else I can put into it, all documented out for me on a card. So recipe cards are $1.99 recommended retail price. Now, while I move these over to one side, let's bring you back to me for a second. Do you have any questions about any of this? Let me know in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them for you. The number one question I should imagine you're going to ask is, okay, Jamie, I'm in love with this. When and where can I get it? This launches exclusively on Hobbymaker this Saturday at 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. We have no idea if we have enough stock for this launch. I know if I was sat at home, I would look at this and I would be pestering every member of my family and of course Father Christmas to be trying to get me this as a Christmas gift, because it is genuinely something that is going to open up a whole world of possibilities. If you all think like I do, there won't be enough. But if you don't, then we might be safe. We'll see. This is genuinely, and we're always far too honest than we should be, but we don't know, do we, Pete? When we open a brand new brand under our brand new company, do we want 1 pot, 2 pots, 200, 2,000, 2 million? Are you going to fall in love as much as we have? Am I on my own? Am I just going back to my days of wanting a science kit and playing in the bathroom to create new things? Who knows? So Saturday we will see. But 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. we will be launching this exclusively on Hobbymaker. And of course, we'll have lots of demos and inspiration for you then. But let's get these out of the way. And Pete, any questions that you wish to throw at us?
Yes, there's a few. Thank you. What we got? So a couple of a lovely Kim and Hadrian Jobbers have asked. Are the inks and the paste, are they water based?
They are water based, so that means we can dilute them down. We can do our water techniques with them. We of course clean up's nice and easy too. We can freshen them when we need to. So yes, all water based, all perfectly reactive to water. Lots of fun can be had with that.
Kathleen, hi Kathleen. She says, would the storage containers hold the contents of the existing perfume bottle glitters?
Yes. Yes, they would. So if you wanted to rebottle those, you absolutely could do. They're the same jars that we've now moved to for our glitters that we bring you, our gemstones glitters under the Jamie Rogers Crafts brand. Tried, tested, loved, bought to you for this product too, because we know that they work.
And link into that one, that reply, Samantha. Hi, Samantha.
Hello, Samantha.
Says, will the inks and glitters, etc. products still be available under the Jamie Rogers Crafts banner?
Absolutely, yes. So we're going to move over the clear texture base just because it is a foundation item. When we bought it to you under Jamie Rogers Crafts, it was way before we ever imagined we would be able to stand here and go, look at our umbrella. I know it's a bit weird, but look at our umbrella. Never in a million years did we dream that that would ever happen. And it was always something I wanted to be able to do for years and years and years. you've all watched me on shows going, can we mix this? Can we mix that? Can we do this? It's always been a brand I've wanted to create. It's always been a foundation. It's always, to me, not only about what we can create, about what we can save you, because we can open up all of these possibilities and save you keep buying endless kind of concoctions that are already formulated for you, and actually allow you to make something unique. Whenever we sit down to craft, it's rare, I believe, that we sit there and go, we want to make what somebody else has already done. We might use that as inspiration, but we don't want to copy it necessarily. We don't want to be exactly the same. This is your opportunity to really make sure you're different. You make your mix, you create something completely different. And with that in mind, keep an eye out, because there may be a bit of a hashtag competition coming your way next week. We'll see. But it is going to give you the ability to be able to share with us what recipes you come up with as well.
Rosanna asks, I like this one.
Good evening, Rosanna.
Hi, Rosanna. Are there going to be blank pads for created ink colours to stamp with?
There may be in the future. Sorry, I've got glitter in my eye, I think, or I've got something in my eye. There may be in the future. That is something we are working on. Again, complete transparency. There is only so many things. We've got billions of ideas of where we want to take this brand and the things we want to add in under that umbrella or under that brand for you. Blank ink pads is one of the things that is on the list. If we get through the demos this evening that I have behind me in the tubs, I've got lots and lots of things I want to share with you. I will show you how you can make an ink pad out of a wet wipe with these inks. You can do that. So yes, you could store it long term in a blank ink pad, which is something we are working on bringing you. Won't of course be this year, but is something that's coming. But in the meantime, take the inks, make your own ink pad, get stamping with them already. Any other questions?
No, that's all. Just lots of excitement for it.
I want to share with you just a couple of glimpses of cards, and then I promise we're going to do some demos so you can see it in action. And then I've got lots of DT cards that I'm going to try and bring in from out. Honestly, I could be here forever. We've got so much to share with you. But you want to see roughly, just inspirationally, what this can be doing for you. So I'm hoping at one point this evening, we will show you how you can be making flowers that look something like this out of this product range. Now, some of you may already know this. This isn't a new technique, but oh my goodness, does Crafty Concoctions bring a whole new level to it. Maybe you got the dotty stuff glue and the dies to dot. Of course, those glitters are going to work brilliantly with that too. Maybe you want to start mixing your OptiGold with your inks and turning it into a stencil paint, so you end up with a texture to it. Maybe you're looking at those glitters and wondering about how you could add extra dimension and detail to a card. Or maybe adding the same glitters with the same style dies, same set of dies, but putting them behind your die cuts instead. Or have you ever wondered if you could make fused glass style cards? Well, absolutely you can do with this product range. So if that hasn't whetted your appetite enough, should we delve on in and actually have a little bit of a play with some of this? Because I think it's when you see it coming together, you're going to fall in love as much as I have. I'm hoping you can sense the excitement that I'm bringing to you this evening, because it is just such a wonderful world to be able to explore and play with. So we're going to start off on a blending mat. Blending mats are brilliant. We need these. These change how easy or difficult it is to ever create something. And we are going to then bring in, let's go for OptiGold. I feel like we need to say it in that tone. I'm sorry, we probably don't.
I do apologise.
The last thing you need. But let's bring in some of the OptiGold.
Charlene, I think she's drooling over those flowers. She loves them flowers. They'll be probably featuring in maybe an upcoming lesson, who knows, at the paper and ink boutique.
Oh, that would be a good
What do we think, Charlene?
That
What
would be a good class, Charlene. Okay, so we've taken the OptiGold. Let's bring in the inks. So let's go for one I can pronounce. Let's go for that molecular rose. We're going to add this in, and we're just going to put a small amount. We don't need a lot. This isn't like a huge amount that we need to be adding. Let's mix that together. Now, can we see that gold straight away coming out and playing right in front of our eyes? That gold is now submerged into that brand new molecular rose concoction that we have just created. Now that is concoction number 1. And that's as simple as it is to make something brand new and unique to you, because if you've put in the choice and the amount of the molecular rose into the amount of the texture paste that you wanted to. So it's already going to be a different shade, a different style, a different colour to what anybody else has created. And if we just bring in a stencil and we take this and we place this down, we have got ourselves a brand new, unique texture paste that works beautifully. Now, if we was to take that same concoction and we put this out onto some black card, let's have a little look at what we've created this time and how's that going to look. Will that show up? Will the black take away the colour? Will we still be left with that lovely gold shimmer coming through? Oh yes, it's there. The colour is there. The gold is there. It looks beautiful. Now, I didn't mix loads of this, so shall we cheat? We did this wrong. We smudged our stencil. We don't like what we've done, so don't worry. We'll take it away. And this is the thing I absolutely love about texture paste. So many times I hear people say, I'm scared of doing it wrong. I'm scared I'm going to make a mistake. I'm scared it's going to come out in a way I don't want it to be. Scrape it off, flip your card over, remove your product back to your mat. Now we can add to that. We can change that. We can completely change that if we want to. Let's show you a complete change. Let's bring in Reagent Plum. Anywhere near again? Why do we call these things these names? Why wasn't it just called Plum?
I blame you.
Honestly, Peter.
Kim asks, she says, are your blending mats a thinner version of the Mylar you use for your stencils?
No, it's exactly the same. Exactly the same. So it's got the same strength, the same ability. I'm not going to tell you to do this because I'm not convinced I'm meant to, but they stand up to my dishwasher, which I absolutely love. So if I get anything on it and I forget to wash it off, it's not the end of the world. In the dishwasher it goes, and Pete moans at me.
He sneaks them in when I'm not looking.
Pete moans at me.
I won't find out.
So let's go then for our Radiant Embers. So we've added 2 colours now of the ink, 1 colour of the paste. Let's, oh, look at that. Look, can you see this? I just hope these cameras do this justice, because this has to be the most beautiful pot of glitter I've ever had the pleasure of playing with. And when we go into it and we start looking at it, can you see all those different size particles, all those different colours coming into play, all those different bits? Now, as crafters, our job is done at that point. Stick it on a self-adhesive sheet, stick it on foam tape, stick it on double-sided tape, put it into your texture paste, use it however you would normally use glitter. You have got an incredible effect there to work with. But let's take it, let's move that over into our texture paste. Now that's a lot of glitter, do not fear, because we'll mix it in, we'll have a little look how that looks. And if, no, that's fine actually, we're okay with that. But actually, if we was to get a bit heavy, and we put in too much and we think, well, what do we do from here? We've added far too much. How's that going to work? What can we do to that? How can we dilute that down? Well, this is where your clear texture paste comes in, because we can bring in one of the clears. Now you can either go for the clear. I've picked up, I think here actually, the sand one. I've gone for the clear sand. It doesn't make a difference. It will work just in the same way. We can bring in the sand or the micro granite clear shard, if I'm being correct, and we can dilute that down so that we then not only add another texture, another feel, and you can hear that texture being put into that product. We've also diluted it down, and we've made even more product out of what we started with. We can then take this and we can place it directly over the stencil just like before. And if we remove this one, because we've made a darker version, we've made a new mix, how about if we was to put that onto the black? What would we end up with if we was to put that down over the black? Do we still get a colour? Do we still get a mix? Do we still get something we like? Of course we do. We have that beautiful finish now created on both formats. Now what if, and I've shown you that we can remove it, and again we can still remove all of this, that can still come back up, we've wasted no product, all of our money is still here, all of our product is still here. We could actually go, do you know what, I've had enough today, I'm going to put that in a storage jar and I'll come back to that another day. But what if we've got a little bit here, and as we've picked up the stencil, that's blurred a little bit and we don't really like it. It's got a bit of movement. We've made a bit of a smudge. We're not happy with that. What do we do then? We don't want to pick it up. We put it down. We forgot we can pick it up. What do we want to do with it instead? Well, do you know what? Let's find a water bottle or a mister bottle. Because if we now bring in some water and we mist over the top of this, now this will take a moment. So you might have to bear with and we might come back to it. But that ink is a separate colour. And that will now start to bleed out because we've added water to this. So the ink will bleed out and it will colour around the edges of those hearts. And it will then give you a really cool finish that will look completely different to anything you've seen before because we've created our very own unique finish to it. We've blended it out, we've diluted it down. I've got a card somewhere to share with you where I've done that. We'll find it throughout the evening, I'm sure. But can you see now how that colour is coming out? And where we had our little slips, our little bits that are a bit messy, doesn't matter. We've now gone for a mixed media look. We've now created something completely different. We've gone off on a different tangent. And even if we don't like it, we could still go in and remove it. And all we've created at this stage is a more watered down version. If we brought back and put into this mixture, we could mix it up again and still go back in and use that again for another stencil. Or we could paint with it. Or we could create all of the different techniques using brayers and stipple brushes and paint brushes that we could ever want to. Because we're in charge. We've made it, we've mixed it, we do what we want with it. It's our concoction to play with in any way that we feel fit. Any questions while I pass off these bits to you, Peter?
No, I don't think so.
So we'll place these two bits of card off to one side and we'll pop this back in the pot below. And I'm going to share with you just a couple of pieces. So again, just a couple of cards. These mixes we're creating, when you come to putting them through your stencils or using them in your creations, you don't have to stick to one colour at a time. And you can make the smallest amounts. So make up a blue version, a green version, an orange version, a purple version, a teal version, and put them all through a stencil in one go. Add in all different shades of glitter to them and create the most unicorn sparkly background butterfly you can possibly create, and it will work. Maybe do like our lovely Lynn has here, where she's used the OptiGold and put colours through that with the ink instead to create this beautiful array of flowers running right the way through there. Now, of course, Pete is over on one side. I love the way Pete does this. He becomes a mime and he does it so well. He just kind of goes over to the side for me and he just goes,
And he has to decipher what I mean.
And I have to work out what that meant. That meant, have you thought of showing him that you could put it on a recipe card? That's a very good idea, Peter. It's a very good idea, Peter. So before we get rid of this bit and he puts it into some water, let's do exactly as he's saying.
Saving my washing up, really.
Well, it's good. It's who wants to get rid of it? If I weren't live, trust me, that I'd go for a stencil and we would be using. But literally onto our recipe cards, that's all we've got to do. Now, I'll have to watch the video back to remember all the bits we put into it, but that's why we have a recipe card, because you write it down as you do it. If you write it down as you do it, you never have to wonder again how you created it, because you've got that compound, that creation saved and noted, documented for you to come back to and create next week, next year, next millennium. It's there for you. Next millennium might be a stretch, but you know what I mean. Okay, let's just flash through a couple more of these cards. So that one was OptiGold mixed with the inks in case you missed that one. This one, again, this one's done by our lovely Diane, and she has got for us on this one the white shards coming in for the texture based, adding in the glitters and adding in the inks to create, again, another beautiful butterfly background that has gone so beautifully into this card. Isn't that stunning? And this is something, again, that I feel sometimes we talk about mixed media and we think it has to be grungy and it has to be dark and it has to... Nuh-uh. Bring in that lilac card, bring in them flowers, bring in them butterflies, bring in your sentiments. How pretty, delicate and beautiful is this card? Now another one here created by Laura, where Laura has actually used our diamond white glitter over a self-adhesive sheet, then made some mixes and put them over a stencil, but actually created an ombre effect as she's run it through the stencil, because again, you can do that. You can mix them, you can make them as you wish. Here's a simple one that I've created with the white shards from the micro granite texture paste and added in the blue one of the inks. I'm not going to try and remember the name, that is not going to happen. Then here's one where I've used the clear texture paste and I have put in one of our glitters again to make the encapsulated style background that actually reminds me a bit of confetti. Very cool kind of confetti running through those flowers. Again, all encapsulated, looking very, very pretty. Then we move on. This one's done by our lovely Christine. Christine's made multiple shades of splodges, in honesty, and what a great splodge that is. What a cool background that is. What a lovely teenager card. What a lovely card for somebody you're not too sure what to put on it, but you want them to know you cared. You want it to be funky, you want it to be modern. Maybe you're making to sell, maybe you're batch making. Maybe you want to go upmarket boutique-y. That to me is ticking all of those boxes. And yeah, actually, as a creator, that is no different in honesty to what we just splodged out on our recipe card. But Christine's done it 4 wide, 4 deep on a piece of A6 card. Then we've got one here by Lynn. Lynn has gone in with our white shards again and she's added in the blue inks to create this beautiful butterfly effect. We have got again the micro granite white shards this time coming in with some glitters and the black one of the ink over the dark cardstock. This one again done by Christine where she's brought in the glitters to the clear texture base or the transparent texture base and placed that across the back like a little breeze really. Little breeze. It reminds me of when you see a hay fever advert in a really good way and they show you the particles flying through the air. But instead of being particles of hay fever, this is a really glitzy, glamorous background. And it's just that cool kind of in the air spray that can be created by these products if that's the way you'd like to use them. So that kind of gives you a bit of a glimpse of the basics, the most simple, easiest way in which we can take these and we can create with them. We can all do that, can't we? I don't think there's a single crafter amongst us this evening. And let me know in the comments if you feel you can't and we'll run through it again. No judgment. We all have different limits. But what did we really do there? We took a little spoonful of this, we threw in some ink at random, no measuring, no counting droplets, no nothing. We threw in some glitter and we stuck it through a stencil. I think we can all do that. I think we can all do that. I've got faith we can all do that. Okay, so have you seen some of me flowers? I'm a little in love with these. Let's share with you a flower. Because again, and I can't stress this enough, you're going to hear me chat a lot about how we're going to bring 1, 2, 3 together, create a potion, make it a concoction. None of this has to do that. Glitter is glitter, paste is paste, ink is ink. If you want to, mix them. If you don't, don't. Flowers. Let's focus in on those glitters. These glitters can create, in my opinion, and I don't often get big-headed because I really don't. I never really value what I do. But to me, incredibly beautiful flowers. I'm a little bit obsessed with these. I could make these forever and a day and never get bored. There is a million combinations in which we can do them as, and I want to share with you this evening how to make these because they're so simple, and it is this glitter and it is these products that make flowers this wowy possible really simply. So shall we show you how to make one of those? Now in the background here, you're going to see lots of our backgrounds being created with the bits we just shared with you in demo 1. Well, we've taken the micro granite white shard and we've added in some of the inks and some of the glitters to make the background to tone in with that flower. On this one, we've done exactly the same for a stencil, and then in the other gaps, we've added in diamond white glitter. On this one, we've used one of our stencils and we've actually embossed it instead to give you the idea. Now, how are we going to make these flowers, you wonder? This is a really simple way to do a flower if you want to add in some glitter to them. So first of all, what we would do is we would take a self-adhesive sheet and we would add over the top of it a piece of white card. We would then send that through our die cutting machine. So you've seen me do this 1,000 times before. We would send that through the machine and we would cut them out. So we have now got sticky flowers, which is what we want to be working with. We're then going to bring in a piece of black card in the hope that you can see what I'm doing. But of course, we would normally use just our scrap white paper. We're going to take off the top part here so that we are removing the sticky part, or removing the protective sheet, I should say, to reveal the sticky part. So we now have a full-on sticky flower. Now I know you've all seen the self-adhesive sheets before. These are like double-sided tape, but in A4 sheets. They will of course be available on the shows on Saturday, and of course they're available with our stockists already. We bring them to you under the Jamie Rogers Crafts brand of products, so I'm sure if you haven't already seen them, these are ones that you might want to be adding into your basket, anywhere you're shopping, anytime, because there's so much that we can do with them. Now once we've die cut our sticky flower, and we've balled off the ends, which is the important bit, and we'll do a little and a large because it's nice to see a couple of them. We'll just pull out that bit. Oh, pull out that bit in the middle. There we go. We'll get rid of that bit. Oh, there we go. What we're going to do then is we're going to pick our colour of glitter. So let's bring in Spectral Pink. And we'll start off with just one. And we're going to tip this all the way around on the tips of the petals. We don't want to go too heavy with this. We don't mind if there's a little bit go up the petal. Not the end of the world at all. But we're tipping it against the tips. You can spend a bit more time doing this at home. You can dip if you prefer to dip. If your flower's small enough that you want to dip it instead of tip it instead of tip it is fine. All we want is a nice sparkly tip to each of our flowers. So we'll do a little and we'll do a large, just because it's nice to see it build up slightly. And we'll work all the way around these ones. Now while I'm doing this, Pete, if there's any questions about anything, let me know and we'll try and fit in the answers to them.
A couple Pat just said, hope you're prepared for sellouts on Saturday. These are fabulous.
Oh, thank you, Pat.
Nice, isn't it? An earlier comment from our lovely Hadrian's Hobbies was also asking...
Hello, Hadrian's Hobbies.
If they're a sellout on Hobby Maker, do you have any idea when this range will be available to stockists, please?
That's a very, very good question. Keep an eye out for your stockist emails. They will be coming through to you in the next few days. Regarding sellouts and re-availability, I won't lie to you. It is a question we have already asked, and we are already trying to pull strings to make sure that we can bring in more stock this side of Christmas. I can't guarantee that. I'm not pulling your leg. I wouldn't pull your leg. I always think it looks awful if we say, oh, I doubt that's going to happen, and then it does happen. I'd just prefer to be honest with you. We are, as I said earlier, and it's truthful, we are unaware whether this is going to be something until we, and I know you've probably heard me waffle about this before, and I know we kind of touched on it earlier. Just because in-house we all fall in love with a product doesn't necessarily mean that you guys will. And it isn't till this time, this moment, we are a few days away from launch, that we actually get to ask you, the customer, the general public, the crafter, are we on our own with this? Or are you as in love as we are? And it's truthfully at this stage, where after this live, we'll go, they like it, we're all right, we've got this one okay. And that's all that matters. And it really is, but it is true. We never know, we ain't got a clue. We try, but we bring you what we love, and hopefully that comes across. If we love it, we bring it to you. If we don't love it, we ain't bringing it to you. And so far, that judgment's kind of done us good. So while I've been waffling, I've done my white flowers, but I also wanted to share with you a black flower, because you're going to see an example of this in a moment, and I wanted you to see how different that's going to look. So I'm going to bring in, because that middle bit, this is still sticky, and we want to bring in something to cover up that sticky. Now you don't have to use our glitter for this. You could use, I always say talcum powder, baby powder. It could be, what's the one that everyone always says? Cornstarch, corn flour, corn something.
Cornstarch.
Cornstarch. Could be something along them lines. If you're going to cover up that flour with lots and lots of layers and you're not really going to see that bit in the middle, you don't have to use a glitter to go over this. But if you're thinking you're going to keep your flower quite open, then bringing in a glitter and covering over that area with a glitter will amplify the sparkle and give, oh, if we hold on to it, it will give you a really beautiful looking flower. I'm going to lift that up so you can hopefully see what we've been working on. Let's see if that's going to focus in on that for us. Come on, camera. Are you going to get there? Oh, there she goes. So we've got our lovely glittery edges. We've still got that detail coming through, and we've got that lovely look as well, all coming through in one go to give you a beautiful effect. Now we're going to do exactly the same here over the white one. So we'll add over that one on the next size down, and we'll brush that off. Now, of course, some of your larger shards of glitter from your Atomics glitters may fall into this concoction. Now, you can be a lot more frugal. I'm just throwing the whole pot on because I can. But actually, when I've been doing this in my own time, what I've done, and I'll share it with you so you can see it, I had one pot of my diamond white glitter that was running a little bit lower. So actually, I've made that my messy concoctions. So in here, you're going to see lots of different shards, lots of different particles. Actually, let's show it to you in this way. Because actually what we made here was a really cool, pretty glitter with a unicorn particle running through it. So although actually it was a case of preventing contamination into my diamond white, what instead I've created is another really cool product, because of everything you do with this, it's going to end up leading you down another rabbit hole, another creation, another concoction, another way in which you can use this and create with it. And that really is the beauty of this product range. Then we're going to bring in our black glitter. So this, of course, is the black onyx, and we're going to bring back in the black flower, and we're going to add the black glitter over the top of the black flower. So once again, we cover up that sticky bit in the middle. And then we end up, and we're going to try and bring up both of these at the same time so you can see what we're talking about. But you can create completely different effects. The black one reminds me of them Jazzy's chocolates you get with that colour glitter running around the edge of it. Doesn't that look pretty and edible? Don't eat them. That's not recommended. But it does give you that kind of confetti-esque look to the edges of your flowers. Now the black flower, where did I put that? Have I put that somewhere else? Oh, it's in the next pot. Let's share it with you now. So this one is my black flower. So black cardstock, black glitter, and then our Atomics glitters added over the top. This is Pete's favourite flower that I've created. It might not be yours. You might go for the lighter, more unicorny, pastel-y, butterfly-y, pretty colours. But it doesn't matter what way you go with these. It's down to what you want to work with, how you want to create, because there's endless options, endless ways. Now these lovely entwined leaves you're seeing come out from around here, this was done in a kind of similar way, but slightly different. I took a self-adhesive sheet, I put that down onto a piece of card, I covered that in Atomics glitters, and then I die cut out my elements to make those entwined leaves instead. And that, of course, is a different way that you can create these kind of effects. Any questions about the flowers, Pete?
No, none as yet.
Very good. Any questions about anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Very good, very good. Don't forget, if you have any questions, please let us know. Now this evening, we don't have any cards to give away because, as you can probably tell by now, I am just going to play this evening. I am going to give you lots of inspiration on what you could be creating with these as individual products, as mixes of products, as ways in which you can be creating with them. But it doesn't mean we don't want to give something away, because here we like to please, we like to share, we like to give. And if you are still watching, you're possibly tempted to be dabbling your toe into the Crafty Concoctions world. And one of the things you are going to need to dabble with is stencils. So we would like to give away 2 of our Stencil Vault stencils. We've got Sliced Diamonds and Tropical Florals. These are the first 2 stencils we're going to give away this evening. What I'd like to know from you right now in the comments is, what's your favourite? If you're sat there with a shopping list, you've been doodling away, but I've been waffling on endlessly. Is it glitters? Is it pastes? Is it inks? Or is it everything? What's on your crafty wish list? This doesn't mean you're going to buy it, but what's on your wish list? Pastes, inks, glitters, everything. And in a few minutes, Pete's going to pick one winner to receive these, and I'll post them out to you wherever you are in the world, just as a little thank you and a little bit of fun for you joining us this evening and sticking with us while I waffle on about my wonderful world of Crafty Concoctions. So we'll add them off to Pete, ready so he can independently adjudicate his winner, and we will move on to tub number 3 on my array of shelves. You paused there. I thought we was going in for a question. Did we have a question?
Just having a little bit of water.
Bit of water.
Charlene asked, but I think you touched on it with the leaves that you said about the entwined leaves. She said, could you colour the paste, paint it onto paper, and then die cut it?
Yes, you
with
can.
flower dyes.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. I'm trying to think, do you know what? I've got so many samples here. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's brilliantly ridiculous. Our DT are bonkersly talented. So before we move on to the next demo, let's delve through one of the piles and we'll see if we can find you an example of that happening, because I know lots of them have done it, and we will find you an example before we let you go this evening. So Peter, I'm putting you in charge of reminding me to find an example of that, because I will forget, because I've got a memory like a fish.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Example. I was reading comments.
If you're recording stars, that's a naughty star.
I've just seen that Emma is going to give you a naughty star, but that's another story.
Why is Emma giving me a naughty star?
Oh,
What
I
have
can't
I done
discuss
wrong?
this.
I feel that I'm
I
probably
just think
deserve one.
I think you've earned one.
I'm worried Laura's going to give us a naughty start. So I'm not going to tell
She's
you
watching.
everything that's on each of these, because if we do that this evening, we will be here forever. But it does give you a glimpse at how you could be bringing in those inks, and you could be colouring over the top here through your stencils. This stencil is going to be available on Hobby Maker this week as well. This one's clear texture paste with the inks added into it. I can tell you that one. Blended beautifully. This one again, I'm going to go out on a limb here. We have got some of our molecular rose going on there. Same stencil as what's been used here. We've got our lovely castle stamp. This is also going to be available on the Hobby Maker shows this week. It's as if these things are planned. Then we've got our lovely butterfly. This one's been put in with our micro granite paste with, of course, inks and glitters added in to give that beautiful sparkle. And doesn't that just show how, again, as a product range, some of the different ways in which you're going to be able to take this off and create with. This is really cool. Laura's used the diamond stencil, again on the show this week, in the background with the micro granite white shards through it. She's then made different mixes to create the focal point, and then added the glitter underneath the happy birthday die cut. Very, very cool. Love that. Bit of a Rubik's Cube vibe going on there. This one, a lovely rainbow of colours being used. Now this could be a good answer to Charlene, because I believe that it has been texture pasted on and die cut, because it's got such a crisp edge. But this is just a plainish die cut. So I want to show you something more intricate so that you can see that working in all of its beauty. But that is an example of that in action, I believe. This one's lovely. This one kind of goes back to that confetti look, doesn't it? Where Laura has added in the glitters into the texture paste to make that really cool effect running through there. And then the last one I'm going to share with you this evening from Laura, again, is another ombre effect, where she has used the different products to go through right the way from the greens through into the purples and the pinks. Very, very pretty. So, shall we do another technique, and then we'll come back and I'll show you more inspiration from another one of our incredible DT members. So in this demo, what I wanted to do is I'm going to bring in a blending mat for this. I'm on a bit of a mission at the moment. I really want to use up my scraps. I've got too many scraps. We all do it. We all say it. They're just everywhere. And I've got tubs of them and boxes of them. And I decided the other day that I'm going to move them to the top of my desk, and I'm going to try and bring them into everything I do, because it's the only way, if I live to 1,000, that I'm going to get through them. So I decided this was my productive way to do it. So let's see, is there any colour on this one? Might be a bit of a shade on this brush, but I picked up and I thought, well, I'm going to try this because I don't know. I've not done it before. Let's have a go. Let's see what we can create. So I thought I'm going to pick up a piece of my scrap, and this again is out of my scrap tub, and I'm going to bring in my inks and I'm going to put them down onto a blending mat, and I'm going to use one of our large blending mats, and I'm going to bring in a blending brush. I'm going to pick that up. I'm going to start blending this over the top here. Now, if at all you go on and you think, do you know what, that's a bit dark. I don't know about that. Am I happy with this? Do I want that to be that dark? Then we'll dig in. We'll find our white, because we can come into this and we can add in some white. And we're going to blend that, and we're going to create a brand new shade. Brand new, creamier, blendable creation. And we're going to go across the top of this card. And we're going to blend it down, creating our background. Now you of course could come in and say, well actually I'm going to take this off on a night sky vibe. This is going to be a snowy background, so I'm going to stop at this stage and I'm going to leave the base white and I'm going to create a snow effect down there instead, or maybe a night sky effect, or maybe a sea style background. Maybe I'm adding some waves, maybe I'm going to bring in that lovely transparent texture paste and add in a wavy background to this instead. The options are endless, there's no right or wrong here, but we're going to carry on blending and we're going to do this all in blue. Just to show you that you can, if you want to, take any piece of scrap from your tub and you can blend these colours to make a really lovely background. Now we're going to add that over there, keep going, bringing in a bit more. We could mix more if we want to, but we don't need to. We're going to keep going till we've got that all covered. Now I like that, that's lovely. That's a really nice texturally shaded piece of card. We could easily leave that where it is, absolutely if we wanted to, but we're not going to because that might be classed as boring. So we're going to bring in some water and we're going to mist over the top of it because we want to lighten that down a little. Now straight away you're going to start to see those inks reacting to water, and we're going to take that and we're going to blot that away. And we're going to let that go slightly textured, which we're creating. We've got that come off on here, we've got that on there, we've got a lovely texture now being added over the top of those inks while we've blended them. Beautiful, delicate, soft. We're then going to bring in that white again, and we're going to place that down onto our mat, and we're going to add in just a bit of water so that we can break that down. We're then going to find a splatter brush, and we're going to pick this up, and we're going to move that off to one side just a second, and we're going to bring this in and we're going to start adding a fingerprint apparently, but that doesn't matter. And we're going to start adding in a few splats across our panel. And this is where I get a bit more messy. We like a bit of mess, don't we? Now that little fingerprint down here on the corner, let's see if at this stage we can eradicate that. Let's see if we can take that out of the way. There is no rights, there is no wrongs, there is no problems if it goes terribly wrong. It was, to be honest with you, a piece of scrap in a tub 10 minutes ago. So if it goes terribly, terribly wrong, not that I ever believe it can, but if it did, what does it matter? We've lost nothing but a bit of ink. The card was already sat there for its entire life. We might as well gamble it and see how we get on with it. So then what we're going to do is we're going to find a stamp. Now around here somewhere, I have a very stormy looking lighthouse. So we're going to bring that lighthouse in, and we're going to eye that piece of scrap up and see if that's going to fit where we need it to. We're going to find our stamp press, we're going to load that up on the inside of here, and we're going to find our black ink to go over the top of it. Now I don't know if anyone will remember, Gwen did a demo with this stamp a little while ago on one of her Thursday night lives, and she did what I would consider the most impressive effect I've ever seen with this stamp, or to be honest with you, any stamp ever. She bought in bleach and she created this amazing effect just a couple of months ago. Mine isn't going to get that good because I'm not that talented, I'm not that incredible an artist. She's in a next level. Her and Francoise, honestly, the way they colour, the way they create, the way they make things come to life, every day it inspires me to get braver and more creative. And I suppose if I'm honest, that's possibly where some of these ideas or tips or styles come from. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to go back to that white ink that we was doing some splatting with just a moment ago, and we're going to find ourselves a paintbrush. And this isn't really the best paintbrush, but it's the one I seem to have to hand. We're going to take that white ink, we are going to dilute that down slightly further, and we're going to bring in, oh, a little bit of red apparently that's on this brush. I'm such a messy crafter, it doesn't matter. Our clouds might look slightly sinister with an air of red to them, but we're going to bring in this white and we're going to start painting back in our clouds, because of this white ink will sit beautifully on top of the background that we have been creating, and it will give us a nice texture to add in there. Now doesn't that look lovely? Doesn't that look soft and elegant? All again by somebody who genuinely believes they colour, they paint, they create a bit like a 2-year-old, but yet actually working with the right inks and the right tools is giving me the ability to hopefully bring this together and make what should look at the end of this like something that ain't too bad. I'm not going to say it's amazing, because it isn't, but something that ain't too bad.
Charlene makes a good comment. She says the inks look a lot thicker than others she'd seen, somewhere between inks and paints.
They are. They are a really lovely, creamy ink. They really, really are. And that is great because, again, it means that you're getting more value for money, you're getting more pigment, you're getting more colour, and we can dilute them down like I am here and get even more value for money out of them. But actually, if we want to add them in and we don't want to use loads of a product, we don't have to. It's not a really watery consistency that we're going to keep throwing money after money after money into a product to create any style of colour. They're not so weak that they're not going to make a difference. These are going to come through and look wowy for you from the minute you start to use them. And that's really what we actually want, isn't it? We want product that makes a difference and stands out from the second we take it out of the bottle. Not one that we've got to apply 30 times and use half a bottle to get a finish from. We want value for money. This is going to bring it for you. So we'll add in a few more bits of our waves there. Now, if at any point you think, do you know what, I've gone a bit heavy, I don't know about that, I'm not too sure I like that, we'll just add in some more water and we'll come in and we'll take another print off of it. Because it's not about taking the print, but it's about diluting that down. It's about taking away some of that intensity. Now, the more we strip this back, the more we can go in and add to it. So maybe we want to, I know you don't want to watch me just do this for the next hour because I could, but you don't want to watch that. We could add in some rays coming off of that lighthouse. We could add in some colour. We could add in some colour to the cliffs. We could carry on for the next hour. At the end of it all, we can leave that, of course, as it is. But do you know something I fell in love with doing? Bring back in OptiGold. We will bring back in our lovely OptiGold polish. I feel that went more Margaret Thatcher than James Bond.
I don't know where that one went, to be honest.
I don't think I ended up with the same James
Maybe
Bond
that
villain
could be your next
as I
question.
expected. I don't think it hit the same note, but you know, maybe it did. I don't know. But we'll stick to the Bond villain idea. So our OptiGold is back in. It's on the mixing plate. It's going to be dashed with some water. And we're going to go back in and we're going to find a wider paintbrush out of my very mix-match drawer of brushes this evening. We're going to mix that down. And again, very creamy. So we're going to bring in actually a little bit more water. But we're going to dilute that right the way down. Now, as somebody who hates their colouring, who hates their finishes because they feel they colour like a 2-year-old, one of the tips I can tell you is if we now take this and we add that right the way over the top of this, we will add into this a beautiful gold shimmer, which will distract the eye from any bad colouring. Because when this dries, that OptiGold is going to give a shimmer and a sparkle like no other. Now this is wet, so bear with it a second, but let's bring that up and see if you can see what we've created. Can you see that mica shimmer run across that picture? Can you see that come to life? Can you see that distract the eye from where I went over the line with a cloud here or there, or where my sea wasn't quite level, or maybe it was a bit too choppy? The OptiGold distracts the eye. And we've taken a piece of what was scrap card and turned that into something I would quite happily stick on the front of a card, all within a couple of minutes with these products. And that's what I love about being able to play with these kind of products. Now I'm going to pass these bits off to Pete so we don't get too messy, because I want to clear this away for a second. And if I remember, or remind me, because we all know I've got a memory like a fish, remind me and we'll bring that in towards the end and we'll have another look at it. Now, as always, texture paste, they need to go into water. Anything that's got texture paste on it, so we're going to give the paintbrush off to Pete. Texture paste is like a glue. Glue's dry, glues damage things. So we need to make sure that that's diluted away, washed away, and not left on that brush. So let's have a little look. I did a few of these. These were all done in the same way that I just shared with you, but I didn't use the OptiGold over the top. But I blended, I splattered, I then stamped, I then painted in with the same inks to create these same effects. This one's slightly lighter, adding in more detail to our lighthouse. This one's slightly more vintage, going in more for the browns from the inks instead, trying to really pare it back. This one, going for the reds, for that kind of Disney-esque castle look, this time with the OptiGold over the top. So we can get that shimmer, we can get that sparkle, we can get that shine. This is it dry, that's what we're working on. That's the distraction technique we're using to hide that colouring if you need to. Like me, you want to distract the eye a little. Now this is lovely. Laura's done this. This is from the works. It's a wooden set of drawers, and inside here we are going to find another book, and in there we have another drawer. Now she has used Francois Reed's amazing woodware papers and stamps to decorate both of these little boxes. Aren't they incredible? But you might be wondering at this stage, where oh where does Crafty Concoctions come into this? Laura has used the Crafty Concoctions inks to do all of the painting. So all of that beautiful painting that looks like it's been printed on the papers, that matches perfectly, is coming to you from the inks to make that look flawlessly beautiful and perfect on all sides of those MDF projects. Now a couple more to share with you. These ones are done by a lovely Christine. Not only has Christine used the paints to paint in the imagery, she's also brought in the texture paste to create the froth of the sea. We can see that lovely white shard microgranite paste. We can see the texture paste coming in here again at the bottom with the glitters running through them. We can see the colour changing glitters. Can you see the changes? Being used over the rainbow to give you all of those different colours, all of that different spectrum of shades coming through to create the most beautiful rainbow up in the sky there. And then one last one here by Laura to give you a different look at what you could be creating with that kind of painting in effect that we just shared with you. Now, any questions about that little lot, Peter? Or can I share a few more samples?
Francoise, hi Francoise.
Hi Francoise.
Hi Francoise. Did ask, and Gwen's on it and replied, do they reactivate when dry on a paint palette?
I don't know if I've left them on there.
Well, that's what I don't see you. I don't
Oh,
recall
go have
you
a look
doing
in
it.
my room, Annika. See if you can find any.
But Gwen says they're water-based, as you'd expect.
I think they would. I never like to say something's going to do something unless I've tried it. But I think they would. I do think they would. But we'll send Annika off to my room to see if he can find any bits and pieces that I've left ink on. I think there's no, he's gone. I won't shout. You lot don't want to listen to me shout. Oh, he's back. There's like a little strip of mylar that I was using as a paint palette with some navy on it. I got a nod. We'll see if he can find it. These are all done by Diane. Aren't they beautiful? I know I'm whisking through these, but don't they look beautiful? Again, we have got all different pastes, all different creations, all different concoctions coming together. This sea being built up with the texture paste across here, bringing in that white ink, looks incredible. That white shard microgranite paste being used across here to create the clouds, absolutely stunning. Team that with a picket fence dye, mix that in with a diamond stencil, and oh my goodness, have we built a beautiful scene. Another one here bringing in our lovely tiara dies to dot set and actually creating this beautiful panel, but framing it with the butterflies with the texture paste. Now this is gorgeous. Again, Diane, we're looking through Diane's samples here. Beautiful, glittery, multicolour changing bauble in the middle. Look how much texture has gone into that. Can you see how much texture is in here? How much depth she has managed to create? How luxurious does that look? Isn't that stunning? I absolutely love that because it shows how you can create what kind of looks like a really glitzy black hole effect by creating texture and depth with the glitters. This one's lovely as well. Diane's gone in and it's a great way to show you how you could use a rainbow of colours running through a project and actually done some blending techniques on these squares or these parts of the rectangles and squares, added in a little wiggly line around the side of them and then added different combinations, different concoctions onto each of the crossover squares as if those colours have mixed and merged to create something new. Very, very cool. Loved that one. And then we move on to this one by Diane, where again we've got the castle with really textural trees brought together with the texture paste and the glitters and the inks, and then beautiful butterflies being used around it. And again, we've got those clouds coming in too. This isn't the bit, Pete. Oh, no, it might be. I don't think that's dried on there, but that isn't the bit I was thinking of. But we'll have a little dig at it and see. I think that's still probably still a bit too wet, to be honest, for us to really give you an honest answer. But that's, I don't even know what day that was put onto there, but we could completely take that and work with it again. So I'm going to confidently say yes. I'm going to confidently say yes. As I say, it's not something I've left, or I can tell you that's been left for a month and I've come back to, which always is a bit more tricky because I like to really be able to be 100% honest with you and tell you I've really tried these things. But I think confidently we could go for yes on that one. Okay, can we move on to the next technique, Pete, or have we got another question?
Sheila asks,
Hello, Sheila.
Hi Sheila, do you need to seal the items of MDF, etc. after using the inks or pastes?
No. No, they should absorb in perfectly fine. I wouldn't put them outside. I wouldn't put them in a dishwasher, you know, but if you wanted to, you could varnish them. But if you're using them for decor or you know, gift-giving bits like that, then I think you'd be absolutely fine to just leave them, to be honest with you. Again, there's not always a one-size-fits-all answer, but I think you would be fine, to be fair. Any other questions?
No, it's all good.
Okay, let's share with you another technique. This isn't new either, but it does work really well. And I love to share with you things that I think work really nicely with different concoctions and different formulas, because it just gives you ideas on what you could be creating with these products. And for this one, we're going to need a stencil, and this could be any stencil, which, bear in mind, if you haven't yet entered our stencil competition or the competition to win a stencil, you've still got time. I'll get Pete to pick the winner after this demo. So Pete, what was our question once again? Oh, that's right. What's your favourite? What's won your heart so far? And it could be everything. It could be the inks, it could be the paste, it could be the glitters. Let us know in the comments which one is your favourite, or is it everything? And Pete will pick a winner for those two stencils shortly. So for our next demo, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a stencil. We're going to place it down onto a piece of copy of paper. We're going to bring in an ink pad. This is an emboss ink pad, but we want a clear ink pad. And we're going to pat all the way over the stencil. And this basically lubricates this stencil so that it's not going to stick down and stay in place when we move on to the next step. We are just protecting the stencil. That's what we were trying to do. We're trying to make sure that it's not going to damage. Now, being honest with you, this stencil doesn't have too many delicate areas. More if you was using a stencil that looks something like this, and you've got really delicate areas, you want to be really protective even over them pieces. This kind of stencil, we don't need to worry too much. Our stencils are cut from thicker mylar, so they're stronger. So even if it did get a little bit stuck, we should be able to pull against it a little bit without a problem. But it's always better safe than sorry. So we're going to bring in our self-adhesive sheet. We're going to remove the top part of it, so we're left with a sticky sheet. We're going to bring in a piece of white guard and we're going to stick that down onto the self-adhesive sheet. We're not going to worry too much if it's perfect, because we would be trimming this out when it was finished either way. Going to give that a good rub so it's down and in place, and then we're going to flip this over and we're going to remove that top sheet. So we are left with a sticky area. Now we don't need all of this sheet, so we're going to try and guard off the area that I don't think we need, which is going to be roughly around there. We're going to bring in that stencil, and the side that we covered with ink, we're going to place face down onto the self-adhesive sheet. So something around about there. We're going to bring over this top sheet again, and we're going to give that a good firm push down, because we want that stencil to stay in place. We don't want any air bubbles, we don't want any lifting, we want it to stay where it needs to be for the next stage of what we're going to be doing with it. Now we're going to go for, let's go for the chunky glitter to begin with. Let's go for our Atomics glitters. And I think it might be time. It might be time, Pete. I think it's time we bring out the reactive flora.
That's what I was thinking.
Reactive flora all the way. So we're going to take our lid off of this one, and we're going to bring this in, and we're going to sprinkle this over the top. Now the glitter is going to go through, and it's going to start sticking to all of that area on the self-adhesive sheet. We can give this a little burnish over the top with our finger. We can go in with a sponge if we wish. We can use a stipple brush, a blending brush, any other tool that we have that we want to be working with. But to be honest, I always think this works quite nicely. I can get into all of the areas. I can give it a good firm push down and make sure that we cover the middles of each of those butterflies as we wish to. Now, all of it that's excess can go back into the jar, so there's no fear of using too much. We'll burnish that down. How's the voting process going, Pete? I know it's hard to keep track, but is it an all, a pastes and inks, a stencils, or not stencils, what are they, pastes, inks, glitters, or everything? Where are we going?
I think a lot want everything. I think that's the general consensus, is everything.
I'm going to be honest with you, it's hard to pick what you wouldn't want from me personally, but I'm going to say that. I want to say I built this brand, and that sounds a bit big-headed, I don't mean it in that sense, but me, Pete and the team have built this brand from what we want, what we wanted to bring you. What did we feel wasn't on the market already? What do we feel would give you the best value for money and the most options that you could possibly create out of release one? Now, I'm not going to pretend there won't be more releases. I'd like to imagine that we will build this Crafty Concoctions brand into 1,000 different products over the next decade, because to me, this is what makes my heart happy. I love this kind of mixing. I love these kind of products. But we'll see. Rome wasn't built in a day. We'll see. But I do think that this is the best possible place that we could start, because we've bought you so many concoctions, so many abilities, so many options from day one by what we've bought you already. So don't forget, we'd probably use, not direct from our best jar, but we're going to bring in our diamond white glitter, and we're going to sprinkle this down over the top so that we infill all of the areas in between our butterflies, so that we end up with a two-tone effect where we've got our, I'm just going to give it a tap, our Atomics butterflies surrounded by that beautiful white glitter. Now, you might want to add a texture paste over the top of that. You might want to mist over that with an ink so that you go through and colour the card below it. You could do more to this if you want to, but I actually think that's rather impressive as it is. That colour changing glitter dancing in the light, surrounded by that diamond white glitter, to me, makes me happy. But I am going to share with you a couple of different versions of that concoction being used to give you an idea of what that could look like in different ways. So this time, for the same stencil, I've gone the opposite way. I've used diamond white glitter through first of all over the stencil so that we end up with white butterflies, and then infilled around it with colloidal violet from our Atomics glitters. I've also made the flower like we did in demo 2 in exactly the same way. I've added our dotty stuff into the middle, and I've added on top of that the black onyx glitter. This one's done in a slightly different way. This one's done on a black piece of card. Different stencil, same process. So I've added the stencil down, I've filled in with the Atomics glitters, I've removed the stencil, and then I've gone over the top with the diamond white glitter, which creates quite a luxurious antique-y feel. I've then added on our dies to dot butterfly and just added on some crystal gems to finish off the butterfly and the background. Now, every now and again, something comes through from our DT and I go, why oh why did I not think of that? I have crafted all of these years and I have not thought of that idea for all the tea in China. Where has that come from? Where have I been sleeping under a rock? And why have I not come up with this? And that's why we have a DT, because they're ingenious and they come up with these things, and it gives us the ability to share them with you, which is what it's all about. So I wanted to share this one with you. This one is done by Christine. Christine has taken, which I thought was very, very clever, the tiara dies to dot die. She's cut it out from the sheet that we peel away from those self-adhesive sheets. This bit I'm always telling you to keep. She's die cut that, and she's done exactly the same formula that we just spoke about. She's taken that, she's stuck it back onto it, once cut out, onto a self-adhesive sheet. She's put over one colour of glitter, she's peeled that away, and then she's put in the black glitter. Isn't that a really good way to take all of your dies and create a completely flat double glitter effect? Isn't that cool? I've never thought of that, Peter.
That is amazing.
I've never thought of that. But doesn't that look amazing? Team that with our Atomics glitters that, as you can see, are dancing in the light, giving us multiple shades, and my heart was won. So, Let's move on to some more samples, but Peter's breathing.
You
Taking
hope
a
I'm
deep
breathing.
breath over in the corner. What's the intake of breath for, Peter?
Quick question from Michael, a lovely Michael
Evening,
Cooley. Hi,
Michael.
Michael. Can we buy the glitters now? Michael wants them now.
Can't buy nothing, I'm afraid, Michael. Tonight is all about the sneakies. This is sneaky peek night. This is brand reveal night. This is telling you what's coming up. This will be exclusively launching on Saturday on Hobby Maker at 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. It will then launch with stockists the week after. So we'll keep you posted more about that in the coming days. But it is launching exclusively on Hobby Maker this Saturday, 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. I hope that answers. Sorry to tease you. I know it's annoying, but we like to have this time. We've been going an hour and a half. We've looked through probably 20-ish samples. We've fitted in 2 or 3 techniques. We're not even quarter of the way through what I could share with you this evening. This is why we do these. It gives us a chance to really slow it down, really dig in deep and share with you everything that we can, whether that's the DT samples, whether that's real in-depth techniques. It just gives us a chance to try and explain everything and answer your questions. So I know it's a bit of a sneaky and a bit annoying when we can't quite get it and a bit of a tease, but it does hopefully let you be the first person on the phone lines, on the websites, the minute it's released, and you ain't got to wait to see if you want to fall in love with this. You already know, and that's why we do it, to be honest with you. Any other questions? Oh, are we going to do a winner? Over to Hostage Cam. Have you got your little sound box on the ready? Let's do a winner and then we'll come back. We'll look through some more DT samples. We'll fit a couple more demos. This is not the end if you're still awake.
I think they're still awake, bless them. So, yes, anyway, thanks for all the comments. I think everyone seems to be falling in love with everything. So our first giveaway.
First giveaway. Is that first? Am I hearing? Does that mean there's going to be a second, Peter?
Out comes Kim's little box. Our first winner this evening is... always catches me out. Congratulations to Deborah Dudman. You've won our 2 DL stencils tonight. So if you want to drop us an email to, I think then, jamierogerscrafts@hotmail.com. Pop us your address on and we'll get those sent out for you. So congratulations, Deborah. Moving over to the main boss man.
Okay, we're going to go back to more demos. We're going to show you more inspiration from the DT. But I want to let you in on a little secret. And it's quite a big secret at the moment because it isn't even on the TV guide, which is kind of worrying me a little bit. But we have confirmation, so we're hoping it's going ahead. We will pull strings if it doesn't, but, and I'm not going to show you all of this, but I am going to give you a bit of a tease. On Saturday, we're on Hobby Maker at 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. If all goes to plan, we'll be back on at 9 for an after hours Black Friday sale. Now, we've asked if the items I'm about to share with you, and this isn't all of them by a long shot, will be available on the website earlier, as in on the day. I can't guarantee they will be, that's Hobby Maker's decision, and they might wait till the live at 9 or the show at 9. But I'm just going to make you aware that even if you tune into the earlier shows, and this is something we do love with Hobby Maker, you can come in and you can get your Crafty Concoctions goodies so you don't miss out, and then you can keep adding to that basket all the way till midnight and you don't pay any more postage. So even if they're not live when you're ordering your Crafty Concoctions, if that's something you go for on that day, don't panic. Join us at 9 when hopefully these will be alive and with you. What we're looking at is our Black Friday sale dies. Now this isn't all of them, this is just a selection of them. There is Sue Wilson designs, there are designs by myself, there is a whole host of designs taking you through a whole host of occasions, themes, seasons and reasons. There is a little bit of everything in this Black Friday sale. And you want to know what we're looking at price wise? Every single die you have just seen in front of you, the highest price on the show will be £4. There will be £2, £3, and £4 for what you've just seen. Of course, I don't know all of them off the top of my head, so please don't ask. But there is going to be one big sale and chance for you to stock up on some incredible dies at £2, £3 and £4. So maybe you might want to tune into that show as well. Just saying. Shall we show you how we created these flowers? Now this is something I'd forgot about. This isn't a new technique. This has been around years. I've done it hundreds of times. As far as I know, it was developed by Sue. Totally forgot about it. Lynn comes into HQ and delivers her samples and I'm like, what's that? She's like, coin crystal. Like, what do you mean it's coin crystal? Coin crystal. It's like, why haven't I thought of that? We need to do some coin crystal. So I'm going to share with you this evening, if you've never seen it before, or if you have, how these brand new Crafty Concoctions products can create the most incredible coating crystal techniques and backgrounds and effects. And then once you've created them, you can choose whatever you wish to do with them, whether that is a card wrap, whether that is something you're going to die cut out of, whether that is something you're going to use as it is, maybe that's something you're going to wrap round and turn into a piece of home decor because it's that impressively beautiful. It could be so many things. But coating crystal is one of the most fun, easy techniques that anybody can do. So shall I show you how to do it? It's very simple. We're going to take a piece of acetate. So we're going to bring out a piece of, this one's our heat resistant foundations acetate. It doesn't have to be, it can be any acetate, but we're going to work with the one we have, which of course is our foundations one. We're going to bring in a couple of pieces of white paper just so that when we get messy it doesn't matter because we don't want to get too messy. And we're going to pick a texture paste to work with. Now you can do this with any of the 4 texture pastes and each one of them will give you different results. So you're going to think I'm biased. I'm going to go back to OptiGold. I tried to do that different this time because I feel like we've gone in different stages with our OptiGoldness. So we're going to bring in some OptiGold. Actually, I might do this differently because I was just going to go for OptiGold, but actually we could do a bit of all of them, couldn't we? Would that be more fun? I think that might be more fun. So we'll do an area of OptiGold. Let's show you the difference. Why do we need to do all of them? Why do we need to see them all? Let's show you why. We'll do OptiGold. We will do micro shards in white. No, micro granite and it. Micro granite white. I'll get there eventually. You think I'd remember these things. Micro granite white shards down in this area down here. And we'll try and join them all up a bit, shall we, so that we can see what we're doing and that everything runs together. So you can apply this with a brayer if you prefer. You could apply it with a paintbrush. You could apply it with your finger. You could apply it to create texture with a brayer if you wanted, or you could do it nice and smooth. The options are endless. We're then going to bring in the clear shards. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to share something with this one shortly, a finished example. If you haven't already got clear shards on your wish list, it needs to be, I feel. You might disagree. I'll show you why I say that in a minute. You can tell me if you agree or you don't. You might not, but we'll have a little look-see. Clear shards at the top here. So we've got clear shards, OptiGold, white shards. Shall we finish this off with some of the clear texture base, just so we can say we've got a little bit of everything all on this recipe, all on this creation. So clear down here in the corner. Oh, come here. There we go. Now this clear one's great again because we can go in and we can mix all of these in. So if we get a little bit of the OptiGold coming through, not the end of the world. We can mix those bits in too, not the end of the world. And then we'll recenter that. I'm not worried if I get a bit of paste on the other side, not the end of the world. This is again one of them techniques where we can cut away, we can use pieces of it, we can die cut it to make flowers out of it. Talking of die cutting, this is a better example, Charlene. We're going to die cut this. We're not, because it's not going to be wet for a while, but we have die cut this and it will give you an idea of what we mean. We're then going to bring in some colours. So we're going to bring in our inks. So this one is our molecular rose. Then we're going to bring in cobalt compound. Why do I say that like a train conductor? Next stop, cobalt compound. And then we're going to bring in, we're going to go back to the one that should just be called plum because I can't remember how to pronounce it. And we're going to add in some plum.
You'll sleep well tonight, viewers. I don't think he could sleep.
They might already be asleep. We might be party of one just waffling on
I'm more on
about
how
inks
you
and
will
paste.
sleep tonight.
Who, me?
You might actually sleep tonight.
I might sleep
You've been
tonight.
so excited about this.
I have been so excited. I can't even express, which I know you might think I'm bonkers. I just love this stuff. So what we're going to do next is, and again, you don't have to get messy. I'm going to get messy. I'm going to bring in my finger and we're going to just start going through these products. Now you can mist with water if you want to, so that it all spreads about a bit more. You don't have to if you don't want to. You might be happy with it as it is. Now we're not trying to, if we really work the colours, like any time we work colours, we might find it gets a bit messy. We don't want it to be messy. We want to keep those colours shining through in all their glory in all of the areas. So we're going to spread this out to make sure that we go all over that sheet, everywhere we can get to. Now we can leave this as it is. Option 1, we stop where we are, we do no more, we leave it as it is. We do not have to add any more to that, and then we can just have that sheet dry. It's going to take a while. We've stuck a lot of paste, a lot of ink onto acetate, which isn't overly absorbent, so it is going to take a little moment in time to set. But what would that look like? So if I bring these cards in, this is the clear shards just used on acetate with nothing behind it. So naked on the reverse. Or I've added glitter. We'll add glitter in a minute. I forgot about the glitter. We'll come back to the glitter in a second. But if you look at that from the front, doesn't that look like it's some sort of glass effect? I didn't want to cover this. I didn't want to add anything to the front of this card. I just wanted you to see how beautiful that effect is. But I did a whole sheet of it. So I thought, well, actually, that's one way we could use it. We could have it as a wraparound. This is another. We can put silver mirror card underneath so that it's got light coming back, bouncing back from underneath that acetate to give you a different effect. Then again, another little wraparound. And all three of those cards were made out of one sheet. So one sheet of acetate, one play of what we've been creating, leave it to dry and use it as it is. One option. But let's carry on, because I did forget about the glitter. So let's go for Optic Mist. I love this one. This is the one that reminds me of a koi fish. We're going to bring this in. I'm going to sprinkle it over the top. I have no idea why the koi fish. Don't look for reason in the random thoughts. It's not easily found. We'll go over the top with that. Now, of course, we don't just have to stick to our brand new brand of products. We don't even have to stick to our brands. You could bring in any manner of products. But if we've got some of that, let's call it dirty mix. It's not dirty mix, it's an amazing mix. But if we've got a kind of mix and we want to use it, this is a great place to bring it in and add it over the top. So we'll add in some diamond white over the top of this one. This is my new pot, but you get the idea. Now again, we could leave that with the glitter like you just see, and it will set and it will work beautifully. But actually the whole idea of courting crystal is it's caught. It's not just crystal, the other one's crystal. We want to catch it, we want to keep it in place, we want to make sure it stays there. Now Sue, when Sue used to do this, she would bring in some tissue paper and she would take her tissue paper and she'd screw it all up into a ball and she would open it out and she would lay it over the top and she would make sure that the colour starts to come through so that you can see that it's all absorbed in place. That's a really good idea if you haven't lost your tissue paper and can't find it anywhere in the building. Not good. So I've got a piece of our crushed velvet paper. Now do not fear, I've done this before. We're in safe hands. All we're going to do is we're going to take this piece of paper and we're going to lower it down and stick it to the back of that acetate. And we're going to give it a good firm push down and we're going to let that all move around. And basically this gives a body to the back of that concoction that we've been creating. Now you can mix this, or you can mist it with water, you can add more ink on the top of it. So if we flip this over and we see any white areas and we go, do you know what, I really didn't want white areas in the middle of this, I wanted there to be colour everywhere. You can flip that back, you can add colour into them areas, especially if you are working on tissue paper. But actually I'm really happy with that. Now if I lift this up, can you see the half or the quarter? Half because I kind of dragged it down a bit, but the part with the OptiGold, can you see how this side shimmers? And they've got that extra mica in there. And then if we look to this side, can we see how that's got the clear shards in it? And this one, slightly more diffused with the white shards. I hope you can see that. I can see it's clear as day here. you might not be able to through the camera quite so easily. But it gives you 4 completely different looks just by the texture paste we use. Everything else was identical. Our glitter, our colours, our inks, our topper, our paper, our acetate. The only difference was the texture base. And we've ended up with 4 very different finishes. If you leave this off to one side to dry, which I'm going to do with this one, because there's no way I'm wasting that beauty, and we bring in a couple of pieces that have been created in a similar way. I've already shared with you the first flowers. These are a few others that I've done. These ones again done with the Opti Gold, if I remember rightly. Let's have a little look. Yeah, Opti Gold, yeah. I couldn't see it from underneath, sorry. But beautiful 3-dimensional flowers. Now the flower die and the foliage die for this one will again be on Hobby Maker this weekend. It's the Cosmos flower, isn't it, Peter?
Yeah, yes it is. Yeah.
Cosmos flower from Jamie Rogers Crafts. It is of course available from stockists already, but it will of course be on the shows for you as well. Now to me these look like they're made of glass. You might not see that, you might see them in a different light, but they are structurally very sound, they're very supportive, they're very beautiful. They could be home decor, they could be pin badges, they could be hair accessories, they could be all sorts of beautiful things that you want to create with them. They'd certainly look lovely in a frame if that's where you wanted to take them. But it doesn't just have to be flowers. Laura's brought them in here and die cut some butterflies from them to create this effect. This is the card, oh no it isn't, this is another one by Laura with butterflies on, again cut from another sheet, done in a similar way. Where's my one that Lynn did that sparked? I don't think I've got the Lynn one in here. We'll dig for the Lynn one in a minute. Lynn was the one who started this whole thing off because I totally forgot about it. So we're going to have to find the Lynn card so I can share that with you before we let you go this evening. But we'll move on from them. Any questions about that little technique, let us know. As always, I'll try and answer them for you. Any questions on that one, Peter, so far? Brilliant. Okay, shall we move on and have a little look at our next competition? I'm getting the secret sign language from the side again. I'm getting stencils waved at me. We're meant to ask you another question, that means.
He's getting told
he's getting
off.
tired, he wants to go home. He probably wants dinner, I haven't fed him at all today. We didn't even get the food truck today, or did you?
No, I didn't.
We got a muffin. Tracy was very good, she bought us muffins.
She did whip out and
Got
get
some
muffins.
muffins. We can't moan, we've got muffins. What more could we ask for? Okay, so please excuse these ones. I've just put blue fingerprints on them. See if we can get those off for you. These are the 2 stencils that we're going to give away next. It's only the wrapping.
Want to win your smudged
Blue
fingerprints.
smudges. It could be a good test to see how if it could be water reacted once it's been posted through to wherever in the world. So, with these stencils, what we would like to know is, what is your best Black Friday bargain you have ever bagged? Have you got yourself a TV, a dishwasher, a blender, a baby shark hoover? I'll just say that for Peter because it will now put the song in his head for the next hour. Have you got anything in the Black Friday sales that you would like to tell us about? It doesn't have to be this year. We are talking all-time best Black Friday bargains. So whether it was a decade ago or 2 weeks ago, what's your Black Friday bargain? And it doesn't have to be craft, it doesn't have to be homeware, it could be a holiday in the Maldives, it can be whatever you want it to be. Just tell us about it, and Pete will pick a winner to win these 2 stencils as a little thank you once again for sticking with us while I waffle endlessly about my love of texture base and glitters.
A couple of questions from our lovely Joanna and Kim. When do you die cut it? With the tissue paper, velvet paper behind it? She's never seen the technique before. And then Kim says, any tips for die cutting acetate as well?
Was that a when do you die cut it? Sorry, the first part.
Yes.
So you die cut it when it's dry. Leave it till it's dry and then send it through your machine. I use a Kit and Caboodle Pro Cut. I often rant and rave about this. It's an electronic machine. It's got a lot of bite to it. I'm using our dies, so they're detailed and they're all on one plate. So like anything, if you're trying to cut through something that's trickier, sometimes you might think you want to go down to just one die. If you was to, this applies to everything, doesn't it? And I know you're all going to know about this. If you took 15 dies and you put them on a plate and you're overloading your machine, sometimes you actually think, well, if I strip it back to one flower, it's going to cut better. Our plates are all together, so you're not removing any of them. I haven't been removing any of them. I just send them through the machine and they cut out like a dream. I do think it is a high-powered machine, which certainly helps. And I am using my metal shim because I'm going through more product. So give it a try, see how you get on. But certainly you shouldn't overly find any issues with it. I would never try and cut the most beautiful lacy die. So I personally wouldn't try and cut something like our elegant butterfly panel die with them, because that's a lot of bite points. That's a lot of work. Whatever machine you're working with, whatever die you're working with, that's a lot of work to ask a die to cut through. But in saying that, when you go back to the creations that have been done by the DT, and you look to that beautiful butterfly on there, our dies to dot butterfly, that's got a lot of cut points, that's very intricate, and that's still cut beautifully. This one hasn't got the tissue paper on the reverse of it. Laura's left it so that she's got the acetate. Tissue paper shouldn't make a lot of difference, it's still only tissue paper. But the best thing to ever do in this situation is give it a try, because of your die, your machine, the age of your machine, the thickness of the product you put on the acetate, the type of acetate you use, the amount of tissue paper you use, is all going to have variance on what your results are going to be. But me, who never really calculates too much and throws everything, including the kitchen sink, at it, has found in my machine with my dies, I personally haven't had a problem. I hope that helps. Any other questions, Pete?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay, let's dig into Lynn's samples. If you're all still with us, I will go through some of these again next week, and of course you're going to see them on the shows too. I love this one that Lynn's done. She has created on black card this beautiful texture, and again this is actually great for shining because it's showing you another die cut. She's built this up on black card with texture paste and glitters and inks, and then she's die cut it using our strip die, and then she's weaved them together to make this little corner. But what I love is how it looks like a patterned leather. It really does have that kind of shoelacy, leathery look. I don't know if this was a trend many times, but do you ever remember at school having square leather shoelaces?
Yes.
They remind me of them, but with glitter on.
Okay.
And I thought they looked really good. Really good.
On a certain brand of shoes, I think, just at one point.
Was it?
No.
I honestly wouldn't have a memory that good. We're going back a lot of years when I talk about school now, I'm afraid, Peter, and I do remember yesterday.
What you're on about.
But it is, to me, it just reminds me of them shoelaces. Now, I know I'm going a bit quicker, and I apologise to the DT because I can't keep you all here forever. But I do want you to at least see the cards they're working with. I won't talk you through each and every one of them. Next week, I'll try and dig deeper into the ones we haven't really chatted through. But I'm hoping this gives you a little glimpse of what you could be doing and the different styles in which you could be achieving. Because every one of our DT members brings something different to the party and takes these products off in a different direction. And that, to me, is really important that you see that, because that shows you what you're going to be able to create with them when you've got them home. Now, do you think we've got time for another technique? Could we fit in
just
one
a quick
more?
one, I reckon.
Another technique. I've got so many. Honestly, there's a list of 25 techniques I want to share with you over the shows, over the lives. So far this evening, we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 26. Ridiculous. We're never going to get through them all. Something I haven't told you, that I meant to have told you, and I'm going to give Pete another naughty star, because he ain't reminded me. There's a brand new Facebook page for you as well. I know! We are the brand that keeps on giving. If you would like to, and I would love you to, come and follow us on our Crafty Concoctions Facebook page. There is nobody on it. It was only made a couple of hours ago. You could literally be the first follower if you haven't already found it. Pete has a link he's going to share for you. That was pre-set up, then we forgot about it. But there is a link if you would like to go and follow it. We would love to have... Sorry, the telly was going to time out, so I have to stop talking and push a button because if not, it falls asleep. I even send the telly to sleep. It's that bad. I know. I apologise. But go and follow the page, because on that page, we will be sharing lots of these samples with you, lots of inspiration, and our lovely Emma on the DT is already beavering away and bringing you inspirational short clip videos of different concoctions. I'm talking 25, 30-second videos going bish, bash, bosh, concoction, bish, bash, bosh, concoction. And she's going to be uploading them and sharing them with you over a few weeks period, so that once your products have landed, you're getting constant inspiration on what you could be creating with them. So follow that page. Of course, follow the Creative Expressions page. But between the two, we're going to make sure you are fully inspired at all times. So Crafty Concoctions on Facebook. There is a beautiful card as our picture. It is a lovely card by Christine of a butterfly card. Do go check it out. And there's also a very nice picture at the top of it showing you all of the different products in the range too. There's no other posts on the pages yet because it's brand new. And I wanted you to go and discover it and find it and like it and follow it. And then we'll start bombarding you with Crafty Concoctions news and ideas. Okay, next technique for you. Let's see if I can find where I've hid them. I've found them. Do not fear. This is not a long search. We're going to bring in a tray. You know I love a good baking tray. I've done well tonight. This is the first time I've brought out the tray. We're going to bring in a piece of card and we're going to bring in some water and we're going to mist all over our piece of card. We're then going to flip it over. Lovely tip I picked up from Jane Gill, because anytime we put moisture on one side of card, it will curve. Whenever there is moisture on one side, it starts to bend. And if we were still working on it in this format, the more water we put on it, the more it's going to start to curve up. So if we put water one side, we flip it over, and even if it started to curl, we add more water or more dampness on the other side, we will find it will go back down and it will flatten out and it will stop any drips and runs and divots and dimples and bits in our card, which is really important. We're then going to bring in them inks again, but this time we're going to use them in a slightly different way. These inks have got a beautiful pipette nozzle to them. So what we're going to do with them is start dropping them at random over our background. And we're going to let them sit on top of that water. Now this will take me a second to do a few of these, and you're going to start to see it, which is good because it'll give it a second to start moving out. It will start working for us. We're then going to bring in the molecular rose. So the first one was Quantum Inferno. This one is Molecular Rose. You can tell I really have got a favourite with this Molecular Rose. I go back to this time after time, which is good because when I say I've still got kind of 2/3 of the bottle or a third of the bottle left, I suppose, it shows that I've really used it and there's still a lot left to go in it. We're going to go back to our needs to be renamed plum. And we're going to start dropping some of that down as well. Did it get away with that? I can hear you sniggering. You've picked up...
Smile. I'm surprised Professor Plum hasn't appeared yet.
Oh, we could have done a Cluedo set. I don't know.
I think we'd get a bit...
Is it Waddington's or Hasbro? I think Waddington's well gone, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I don't think Waddington's still around. But we're going to do some dots. We're going to bring in Ionic Foliage. I like that one. Ionic Foliage. And we're going to start adding some dots of this one. And you can spend a lot more time doing this at home. You don't need to do what I'm doing. It can be a lot quicker or a lot slower, or a lot more precise. But we're just adding in dots. Now you're probably already starting to see with our first colour where I'm going with this. We see that. We see you, red ink. We see you starting to move around. Let's bring in some more water. Let's get those dots a moving. I feel like Mr. Motivator. Come on, dots. Burn them calories. Come to life. Show us what you look like. Look at that. Now, at any stage, you can go back and add in more. But actually, you don't really need to. If you leave that to dry, them dots, they'll keep on moving. They'll keep on grooving, they'll keep on changing and adapting, and you will end up with some really cool backgrounds. Now these again can be used in a multitude of ways. You could put these for an embossing folder, you could stamp on top of these, you can die cut these, you could stamp on them, you could paint over them, you could do loads with these if you wanted to. Couldn't you tell I like the colourway? Got a little bit carried away. We've got 4 sheets of that one for playing with at a later date. Now, as you can see, these are going to dot and explode out in one way or another. It also means, oh, here's a goodie. Here's our black and white one. I rather like the black and white. It also means that we can do drip techniques with these. So exactly the same as what I just did, but this time I stood my card up against the desk. I dropped my ink on the top of it and I let the colours drop down and radiate out to make a completely different effect. I did the same on this one, but added less to it. Now I know that it might look a bit messy at the bottom, might look a bit messy at the top, but you actually go in and focus in on a smaller area of this. You say, well, we're going to go from that part to maybe that part, and doesn't that make a really lovely background? Doesn't that look really modern and fresh and fun? Especially if we started homing in on just that bit in the middle, or stretching that out to a DL card. We could do that, and we could home in on those areas. We could add more to it, or we can die cut from it. So let's get all of these out of the way for a second. I'm bringing a few cards where I've taken those sheets and I've die cut them to create beautiful flowers with them. Now you're going to see different techniques being used in the backgrounds of these. As I say, there's over 26 different techniques I want to share with you over the next couple of weeks with this brand. And this is a really good reason why, if you can, and you do, and you like to, if you get your orders in as soon as you can, by the time we keep rolling through all of these different tips and ideas, you're going to be able to craft along with us and watch these videos back and be able to be creating what we've been creating this evening for you, and what we're going to be creating in the next few lives, because it's all about bringing you inspiration to make sure that our brand new brand is something you fall in love with as much as we have, and continue to do so. Now, I'd like to share with you a few more samples, because I'm really conscious our DT work incredibly hard to make these beautiful creations, and I know if I was one of our members and my samples didn't get shared, I'd be a little bit gutted, and I don't want that to happen. And it's not for any other reason than time. I've already waffled on for 2 hours. I know you guys are going to be bored of me, but I do want to share with you just a few more of the creations that they've been working on, and I promise next week we'll dig into them even further. Now these ones I'm flicking through here are all done by our lovely Wendy. Wendy's been bringing in texture paste. She's been building that up on Miri card. This is where she's come in with her spatula, made some really cool textures and added bits to them. You've got some beautiful mixes on darker card. We've got that confetti style absorbed in. We've got mixes to create seas. We've got colour mixes to create backgrounds. Wendy's done a little bit of everything, and they look incredible. Now let's have a look at some of Sharon's. Sharon has created one of these. I love these. She does a lot of these little calendar tab kind of hangers, which, especially when we're in November and we're starting to think of what we can do for people for Christmas, what little gifts we can make, I think they're perfect. She's also made what I would class as some very arty tags. I love an arty tag, and those to me are very arty tags. Sticking with the art vibe, she's also done a canvas, which I thought was lovely. And not only has she done a floral canvas, she's also done a Christmas canvas too, which I feel maybe with a little sleighing reindeer across the top and a little candle stood in front of it, a little battery operated candle, that could really set a scene. On top of that, something else I really liked is she's gone ahead and taken not only card and paper and canvas, but she's moved off into home decor, and she's made our lovely home word out of these incredible letters that of course has been decorated with a whole host of our Crafty Concoctions products, and I thought those were really special. I really like those. So there's some from Sharon as well. Now another one I wanted to home in on, because there's a few more to go through, is our lovely Siobhan. Siobhan has worked her magic with these products to create some really different styles too. We've again got a beautifully painted in lighthouse, but not only that, we've got this beautiful textural background. On this one over here, Siobhan's gone in and decorated an embossing folder panel instead. And over here, we've gone for a really bright combo on top of that beautiful purple and lilac background, again created with the pastes and of course adding in the inks. Siobhan has also gone one step above for us, and I thought this was a really lovely thing to share with you. She's created 2 masterboards for me to have a little chat with you about. On masterboard 1, she has brought in her inks and she has added them down in the background. She has then used water to go away and blot over the top of a stencil, and then she's brought in texture pastes and put them through over the top of another stencil to layer that effect up. So painted, effect bleached, then stenciled on top to make these 6 different panels all on one sheet. She's done very similar on this one here, but has actually used some of our white ink from, of course, the Chroma Lab inks to add in over the top as well, to create again a masterboard, to give you an idea. Now, on top of making the masterboards, Siobhan has also shared with us how she's taken the masterboards and added different techniques and different finishes to those backgrounds to create 6 completely different cards, but all built up on top of those masterboard backgrounds. So even when you've got to this stage, because you've got so many options of products to work with, you could create completely different results, all even from that stage there. And I thought that was a really lovely way to demonstrate to you that you can really work this as much as you want to and keep building them layers, keep building them effects and creating completely different results, even with the same foundations masterboard underneath it all. I thought that was lovely. I really enjoyed reading about those, and we'll discuss them in more detail next week, I'm sure, because it's something I really, really enjoyed looking through. Then we have Ian. Ian has been working his magic too, and Ian has gone off on a Christmas vibe for this one. He's gone off on a travel vibe for this lovely MDF tag, and this again, beautiful MDF tag brought together with our vintage collection and our cog collection to be built up to make that beautiful home decor piece. He's also brought in one of our stencil vault stencils here, and he's blended his background. He's then brought in this beautiful floral set draped around it. We've then got a Christmas version from Ian. We've then got a beautiful floral card from Ian. We've got a polka dot card from Ian, again sharing how you could use your different colours of Atomics glitters to create different polka dot effects. If you don't wish to do polka dots, how about doing stripes instead? And then this one I thought was lovely. This one, Ian's worked with photo paper and actually used the inks on top of photo paper to give us that beautiful glossy finish that you can see coming through for each of his die cuts and of course his background, which shows us that actually just by changing the medium we work on can give us a completely different effect to what we're creating. And then lastly, at this stage from our DT, I wanted to share with you Christine. Now Christine, truthfully, is our princess of A6. I would call her our queen of A6, but I hold that title for our dear Francoise. She is always my queen of A6. But Christine is very hot on her tail, and you can see that Christine has truly got carried away in the best possible way. If I remember rightly, she has created 26 different samples for you this evening to share with you just some of the ideas and some of the layouts that you could be creating with these products. And what I love about Christine is because she is our princess of A6, everything is on an A6 card, and it shares how you could pair this right the way back to smaller creations. You can go right the way up to large creations. It's all once again down to you. Uniquely mixed, uniquely yours, all coming to you from the brand new brand of Crafty Concoctions. Now I think I've taken you through some of everybody's DT samples, not all of them. There's more of mine, there's more of the DTs. I'm going to try and make sure you get to see those on the shows, and if not, we'll take a more in-depth look next week on our live. I am going to give a couple of mentions to boxes as well. We haven't dug into these. You're going to want to see these. Tune into the shows to see them. If not, next Monday we'll take a look at those. Don't forget this evening, we only got to technique 6 of 26. We will try and bring the other 20 to you throughout the shows and throughout the upcoming demos, even if we have to fit in more lives to bring you more. There is also something else which I haven't even thought of mentioning, and we need to tell you about. Have you seen that we have a demo day coming up right next door in Craftmania? The store that is opening next door is going to have me and Gwen come and demo for the day on the 13th of December from 10 AM till 4 PM right here in Great Yarmouth. Creative Expressions hasn't yet made an events page for this event, and nor have Craftmania, but keep an eye out for more details about that demo day. It is literally only a couple of weeks away. As like everything, is a free event. There is car parking right outside the door for you to come and attend, and it will be me and Gwen beavering away all day to bring you as much inspiration as we can. Now, I don't know for sure yet because this demo day has only just fell out of the sky. We wasn't going to do a demo day in December, And then all of a sudden, we're doing one and it's in 2 weeks, because that's just the way we roll. But I've got no idea what we're going to be doing, but I'm sure Gwen is going to bring you lots of fabulous inspiration. And I have a feeling I'm going to be playing with this because I can. And I think that our Crafty Concoctions brand is going to be the one I'm going to be focusing mostly on that day. So again, if you're in the area, if you want to make the trip, come to the seaside, see us in Great Yarmouth and join us for our demo day from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. and join in the fun with me and Gwen. It's not often we get together. I will promise you that we'll behave, or we'll try to behave. Pete doesn't when he's around Gwen, so I'm sure there'll be mischief and chaos. But we'll tell you more about that on Monday, when hopefully a few more plans are put in place and I can tell you a bit more about what we're each going to be doing. There was also rumours of fancy dress, or maybe Christmas jumpers. Remind me about that on Monday if I forget, and I'll tell you more, maybe. Is there any questions before we leave these lovely people in peace?
No, I don't think so. Just lots of love for the product, the brand, the samples, everything the DT's done, and
they're incredible, aren't they? And I know it's been a really long live, and I apologise. I know it's a lot to listen to us waffle on about enthusiastically for hours, but it is just something that I really feel it needs time. It needs to be shared. It needs to be shown. It needs to be explained, because if you can just judge an ink by a bottle, but don't, there is so much we can do with it. And then you take that ink and them glitters and them paste, and you have got hours upon hours upon hours of fun ahead of you. This is our background. I've moved it, so we've got a bit of pooling that's gone off a little bit just because I've moved it and put it wonky. But I wanted to share with you just on that card how that's starting to already spread out and create a different style background just before I forget. Now you have a winner to announce, I believe, Peter. So I'm going to bring you over to your hostage cam so that you can pick our winner for the next 2 stencils that I believe you've got to hand as well.
Wasn't ready. You come to me very quick, didn't they? Didn't give me much
I'm sorry, I wanted
time.
to set out my bits.
I was scrabbling for my little Kim box. So yeah, anyway.
Little Kim box. I don't think you can call it a little Kim box, but we'll go with it.
But no, thanks for your comments and sharing all your Black Friday bargain bits you got.
Oh, what did you get? I never
Quite
asked.
a few bits and bobs. There was a nice American fridge freezer I spotted on there.
Nice what?
And American fridge freezer, a cruise, I think, next year.
Oh.
I don't get a cruise. But anyway,
I'd send you on a cruise. Might have some peace.
It might be a one-way ticket.
Ticket for one. Round the world.
I won't say no. Anyway, sorry. So our winner this evening for this little 2 stencil lot is congratulations to Pippa Tisdall. She bought a recliner a couple of years ago for her dad.
Oh, that's nice.
Get up and out of his chair. So it was really sweet and lovely. So congratulations, Pippa. You've won the stencils. If you want to drop us an email at jamierogerscrafts@hotmail.com, pop your address on there and we'll get them sent out for you. So yeah, thank you all for taking part and joining in with our stupidity, if you want to call it that.
Oh, I
think he's nearly ready now.
I'm ready.
I think he's ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Well done, Pippa. Thank you all for joining in. As Pete says, it's a joy when you all comment. I know it might seem random, but we do genuinely enjoy reading through the kind of random questions we ask you. It genuinely is nice to see what you all get up to and what you're doing and what you're purchasing and what you're thinking about the products as well. Pete seems to have indicated that you have liked the launch, which I am going to be honest, does give me a bit of a sigh of relief, because as I was saying, I know it's silly, but we're only a small team. And it is kind of just what we feel we can bring to the market that's different to what's already out there, and a different way of looking at products and a different set of education, hopefully, for you to be able to enjoy it. And it is always a bit nerve-wracking, especially when we go out and kind of go all out and tell you it's a brand new brand and not just a little release, because sometimes we'll kind of test the water with a little release and see how that goes before we kind of go all out and go, do you know what? That's going to be the brand that our mediums are going to be brought to you under. And when you see that name, that means it's going to be a mixable medium that's going to open up a whole world of possibility. Uniquely mixed, uniquely yours, all coming to you from Crafty Concoctions. That's what it needs to be. I'm not saying we won't do products under different brands, different times. Absolutely we will be. Lots of plans on that too. But if it's sporting that name on the packet, that means it's designed from a place that you're going to be able to mix and match it to create not just what you see in the pot, but a million different items, especially if you bring it and mix it into what we're bringing you in release 1, which of course is all of your Chroma Lab inks, your Atomics glitters, your Blendite texture paste, your Opilion paste, your Micro Granite paste white shard, and your Micro Granite paste clear shard. And of course, your recipe cards to be able to track it all on, and your, what are these that called? Mix it, make it, store it, storage containers. I love that, makes me smile. But it does give you the ability to store it all as well. One thing we didn't even really touch on tonight is actually mixing your colours of glitters. That's another incredible thing that you could be doing to create a different mix for those two. But I feel we've probably given you a lot of inspiration tonight, hopefully, if we've done our job right. And we'll be able to bring you more inspiration on Saturday shows when we'll be with you exclusively launching this product range on Hobby Maker at 1 PM and 6 PM. So I do hope you can join us then. Email in, let us know that you're with us, give us some support, because I'm going to tell you now, I will be nervous. It is the live brand new launch of our brand new brand under our Creative Expressions umbrella. It is always a nerve-wracking day, so come and join us and support us and let us know that you're with us. So I will see you on Hobby Maker 1 PM and 6 PM on Saturday. Gwen is going to be back here on the Creative Expressions page Thursday evening at 7 PM. Slightly bonkers, but she's got a brand new collection to sneaky peek for you too. We're going to be giving you a kind of an advanced sneaky peek because it's a little bit earlier than it normally would be, but she's going to be on telly the next Thursday, so she can't do a normal live then, so she's going to bring it to you on this Thursday coming and give you a sneaky of it to introduce you to a brand new collection under the Creative Expressions brand designed by Sue Wilson. And I know she's already told you that on her live, so it's not new news, but it is something, if you haven't seen Gwen's live, to make sure you're here Thursday evening for that at 7 PM. Is there anything else we need to cover before we leave the lovely people in peace?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay then.
Quick reminder of the Black Friday site.
Oh, look at you directing from the sidelines. I like it. It's good you keep me on the track.
Oh, I try.
Our black, he's right, I should remind you of this because it's nice to be able to bring you a bargain, and it is lovely if we can bring you a saving. There is a whole host, I think it's 50 different product lines roughly, that will be on the Black Friday sale, 9 PM on Hobby Maker, giving you huge savings of, or basically reductions down to £2, £3 and £4. Now I can't remember, but I know for instance the alphabet set that's in there, I think the recommended retail price for that one is £21. And I honestly can't remember if it falls into the £2, the £3 or the £4 category, but it gives you an idea of what your savings are looking at. £21 to £4, I'd have a bit of that. That's what you could be getting. Saturday night, 9 PM on Hobby Maker, 50 product lines, all £2, £3 or £4. No big bundles because we know you might have some of them, so this is your chance to come in and cherry pick the items you want to get hold of. On Hobby Maker, don't forget that you have capped P&P for the day as well. So if you are going to come in for some of your Crafty Concoctions items, it might be that you want to add in a couple of those to your basket as well, and it will all be calculated at midnight. Some of our stockists do also have the Black Friday deals available, and they are available right now. So you might wish to have a little look around the stockists if you wish to already. But as I say, they will all be available on Hobby Maker on Saturday too. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I do hope we haven't sent you to sleep. I do hope you've hopefully been inspired and enjoyed the explanation of our brand new Crafty Concoctions. But from me, good night.
And it's a good night from me.
So we'll leave you all in peace. Night, night, all. Thank you
night.
for your time. Thank you for your company. See you
Take
soon.
care. Bye.